For the final time in 2017, Tachi Palace Fights returns with an exciting 9-fight card. In our main event, former TPF Bantamweight champion Rolando Velasco looks to reclaim his position atop of the 135-pound division. Standing in his way is the hard-hitting Brazilian Rodrigo Lima. A veteran of nearly 20 fights, Rolando Velasco knows what it takes to achieve greatness inside the cage. After dropping a very close fight to former champion Cody Gibson, Velasco returns in an effort to remind fans that he is one of the sport's elite-level competitors. For Rio de Janeiro's Rodrigo Lima, a victory tonight will make a statement that he is truly ready for any opponent willing to challenge him inside the cage. In our co-main event, former TPF lightweight king Tony Yamas looks to tangle with Limor's Sergio Quinones. We'll also kick off a 4-man heavyweight tournament tonight, featuring the highly touted Muhammad Usman, WEC veteran Van Palacio, and undefeated fighters Chris Lewis and Mitchell Sipe. These fights and many more are headed your way next. Live from the historic, iconic, world-famous Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino, it's Tachi Palace Fights 33, Velasco versus Lima.
And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino. I'm your host, the Iron Man, Tyson Johnson, and this is TPF 33. Tonight's promoter is the Tachi Yoka Tribe. Your matchmaker is Richard Goodman. This event is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Your executive director, Andy Foster. The timekeeper for this evening, the man on the streets, John Matzenbacher. Ladies and gentlemen, your physicians at ringside will be Dr. Gary Furness and Dr. Mitch Jellin. Judging tonight will be Abe Bilardo, Jason McCoy, Mark Lawley, and Josh Rosenthal. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's referees will be Jason McCoy and Mark Lawley. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce the very special Limor High School NJROTC Color Guard. At this time, I'd like each and every one of you to please stand as we honor our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, our musical guest tonight playing that beautiful song, Mr. Andrew Romero. Mr. Andrew Romero.
Ready, cut, order, colors, ready, cut, color guard, dismiss.
Leaving this cage at this time is the Limor High School NJROTC Color Guard. Let's give them a big round of applause. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino. I'm your host, the Iron Man, Tyson Johnson, and this is Tachi Palace Fights 33. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 9 exciting fights coming your way, including a fight for the vacant Bantamweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Kicking off Tachi Palace Fights 33 is a catchweight contest as Ray Cervera meets TPF newcomer Lamar Reed. Fighting out of Oakdale, California, Lamar Lion King Reed looks to make his TPF debut memorable. Training alongside the likes of veterans Buddy Wallace and Angel Deanda, Reed stands ready to put on a performance he can take pride in. Standing in his way will be the TPF staple, Baby Ray Cervera. A veteran of over 15 fights, the Bakersfield native is at home inside the TPF cage, and tonight he looks for his 10th professional victory. On the way, it's Lamar Reed meeting Baby Ray Cervera. This is Tachi Palace Fights. Tachi Palace Fights 33 live once again inside the Bingo Hall here in Lemoore, California. Hey everybody, TJ DeSantis along with Leslie Smith. A shot there of Baby Ray Cervera making the walk to the TPF cage for the 6th time in his mixed martial arts career. It's a career, Leslie, that dates back all the way to 2009. Cervera, an interesting fighter who doesn't like to cut weight. He's fought as low as 155 pounds, and you know, some fighters really benefit not going through the taxing process of cutting weight, and Ray Cervera tonight doesn't even have to make the 170-pound limit, catch weight of 177. So Ray Cervera has got to be feeling pretty good coming into this fight, just having trained and, you know, putting his body through the rigors of preparing in fight camp, but not necessarily getting ready for the scale.
Yes, I agree. It can make a very big difference not to have to go through a very grueling weight cut. The last training camp that I had, I ate more than I had ever eaten before, and I felt better. It had a huge effect on my fight.
Ray Cervera ready to make a statement here tonight in the opening contest of Tachi Palace Fights 33. Facing him is the Lion King, Lamar Reed. He represents the Last Stand fight team, fighting out of Oakdale, California. This is his TPF debut, but don't get that twisted with the fact that he is a accomplished mixed martial artist and an accomplished martial artist as well. He's been wrestling for 15 years. He calls himself a scrappler, confident on the feet, but also very much so on the floor.
Yeah, and he has a lot of wrestling experience. And what with the fact that a lot of wrestlers have cut a lot of weight over the years, this is a very big contrast in the pre-fight weight cut preparation.
He said that around weigh-in time he was going to be around 170.8, but the fight ended up getting changed to a catchweight contest, and he didn't have to go that far down in weight and tax himself. He's going to be around 180 when it comes to this fight in the belt time here. And looking at a wrestler, I mean, cutting weight is like breathing for a wrestler. It's something they've done their entire life.
It sure is, but there are some differences. Now, granted, he's an MMA fighter at this point and not a wrestler, but sometimes when wrestlers get into it, they only have to fight 2-minute rounds in wrestling, and so that can be hard to transition and carry that longer necessity for a full round over to MMA.
Lamar Reed has been fighting for the last 5 years, and tonight looks for his first TPF victory at TPF 33. Look at the tail of the tape here. Both men around the same height. 1 inch taller is Baby Ray Cervera. You see the weight there, 170.8 for the Lion King, and Cervera coming in a little bit heavier. The graphic not exactly on point. Technically a catch weight, 177 here tonight. Reed, 2 years the elder of Baby Ray. To get things started, let's throw it up to our ring announcer. Here is Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Tachi Palace fight will be 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 176 pounds. He represents Bakersfield Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a mixed martial arts record of 9 wins and 7 defeats. He hails from Bakersfield, California. Please welcome Baby Ray Cervera. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 171 pounds. He represents the Last Stand fight team with a mixed martial arts record of 6 wins and 4 defeats. He hails from Oakdale, California. Please welcome Lamar, the Lion King Reed. Your referee for this bout will be Mark Lawley.
Mark Lawley getting our opening assignment. It is Baby Ray Cervera and Lamar Reed.
Fight, you ready? Fight, you ready? Fight!
TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, Tachi Palace Fights 33, the final card for TPF in 2017. Ray Cervera, in his fight career, Leslie, has only been finished one time. For Lamar Reed, he's finished all of his victories in MMA. Quickly down to the floor, closed guard here for Ray Cervera.
I'm surprised that Lamar Reed didn't throw an overhand to lead into that. That's what I have seen him do before, but it worked very smoothly what he did.
Reed with some hard right hands, Cervera covering up. We talked about that durability here of Baby Ray. Probably not where he wanted to be this early in the fight, though.
No, I don't think so. The sound of those punches, nobody wants to stay down there that long, especially not with someone who's punching that hard. So he definitely needs to get out of full guard. I like to move my way to the cage and then start working a stand-up, but definitely the first thing is to get out from in full mount.
Looking at Cervera, he fancies himself a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but right now he's mounted by Lamar Reed, who probably going to open up with some hard shots here. Well, nicely done there by Cervera, able to get back to half, but Reed immediately clearing those legs once again, trying to get to side.
I like the explosiveness, though. He did a good job of keeping himself controlled, and then he improved his position. He's still on the bottom, but he's no longer in full mount.
Cervera wrapping up that half guard, and Reed very conscious about trying to move, trying to pass. Mark Lawley telling him he needs to work, but I like what Reed is doing here. He's consciously trying to advance his position and not just be content with where he's stuck at.
Yeah, he's definitely showing one of the hallmarks of a great MMA fighter, which is the ability to combine all these different disciplines, the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the striking. It's very easy to get sucked into one of them, and he's not doing that.
Cervera eating some soft punches here from Reed, really holding on. You know, with Lawley being aggressive, saying you need to work, Cervera may be able to, nullify the position here long enough to get Lawley to stand it up, and I think that would do quite a service to Ray Cervera.
Yeah, totally. He needs to lock those hands up behind his back, just like he did, because that's what keeps Reed from being able to posture up and land the hard blows.
And while Reed is slowed here with the punching offense, I would be hesitant to make him stand. I mean, this is a nice position that he's worked hard to get, and he's maintaining it, and like I said, always trying to pass the guard.
And I think that's the most important part, is the always trying. Ooh, and that was a really nice elbow.
The corner of Ray Cervera telling him to be wary of that elbow. Nice left hand gets through by Reed.
I wish they would tell him to get his right underhook and then start working to get to his side. Get up, get to that single leg. Anything is better than just staying on the bottom.
And you're looking at 3 minutes into this fight here with Ray Cervera having very little offense. Now, Lamar Reed hasn't necessarily unleashed a flurry of punches and made Cervera, have to move or get close to finishing this fight, but this is a shutout here. This is one-way traffic thus far, and the judges could technically reward him with a 10-8 if this entire fight this entire round has Cervera on his back with no offense whatsoever.
They totally could, and they definitely could give him that 10-8 round. And if they,
come on, you got to work.
However, if it ends up going all 3 rounds into the judges, I think that it's a great idea of Lamar Reed how he's being conservative of his energy right now and not throwing all those huge punches, and that's going to give him the ability to be strong in the later rounds if it goes that far. That's
a great point, Leslie, because we talk about the durability of Ray Cervera. He's only been finished, one time in 8 years. Reed could get over aggressive, and that's when, a veteran like Cervera could really rally back and start to steal this fight.
Oh, yeah. We've definitely seen, as MMA fans over the years, many fights where someone spends the entire first round on the bottom. As long as they're intelligent about keeping the damage to a minimum, then they'd still have a great chance of coming back in the later round.
Reed working for an arm triangle, but Cervera wise to it, able to get that left arm free. 45 seconds remain here in round number 1. Mount still enjoyed here. by Reed. Looked like he was going to switch it to an S mount, but he doesn't. Now Cervera trying to get back to half.
Cervera hasn't given up his back, which
Go, you gotta get busy.
in MMA, as opposed to jiu-jitsu, frequently people do turn their back. And I'm impressed that he has had the
gotta work.
ability to avoid that.
Lawley really telling him he's got to work. I mean, I think he is working here. I understand that you want to, maintain pressure and maintain the action here, but for my money, Lamar Reed is pitching a shutout here in round number 1.
Yeah, but there are things he could do. Like, he just got that leg out, so now he moved to mount, and now he's mounting up. There were steps he could have taken. He was moving in the right direction, though.
5 minutes in the books between Lamar Reed and Ray Cervera. While Cervera is not lumped up or bloody, that was about as dominant of a round as you could hope for if you're Lamar Reed.
Yeah, good job, Lamar Reed. For Ray Cervera, I will say that was pretty textbook on how to avoid taking a lot of damage inside of the fight. The way that he was able to go to one side, that was a nice takedown to start it all off for Lamar Reed. And Cervera never returned from that.
More work here from the top for Lamar Reed. Cervera tried to induce a scramble there, but Reed wise to it and more control from the wrestler.
Yeah, in fact, the way that Cervera is staying on the bottom, it might be the fact that he isn't exploding and trying to get out that did not expose him to potential submissions.
If you're in the corner of Ray Cervera, what do you tell your fighter coming into the second round? Because you can't afford to have another round like that if you want to win this fight.
Totally. Well, for starters, I would say come out and start moving around and throwing knees. And all of your combinations with knees, use a lot of uppercuts, whatever it takes to not get taken down.
Ready? Fight!
Lamar Reed, a self-described scrappler. We'll see if he likes to scrap a little bit before he gets into the grappling part of things here in round number 2.
See, right now is where Ray Cervera could just throw a knee. And what that does to the mind, the back of the mind, the subconscious mind of the person who just took them down is puts them on notice a little bit.
Quick left hand there by Reed. Reed a little bit faster with his hands thus far in this fight compared to Ray Cervera. Now Cervera feigning a shot. The left hand there by Reed. This fight taking place a lot more on the feet than it did in the first round. I think that takedown came within the first 15 seconds of round number 1. So,
yeah, maybe even the first 5 seconds.
Now Cervera pushing the action. Nice left hand, though, by Reed. Ray Cervera, a grappler by trade. It's hard to take down someone like Lamar Reed, though, who has, a decade plus of wrestling experience.
Yes, it is very hard. I think that he was doing better in the stand-up than he would be doing up in the grappling, but I don't know. Maybe he should have tried to push it up against the cage. Sometimes that changes things.
Reed able to get a takedown. Cervera now back to full guard. He's got his head pressed, though, against the fence. Some fighters like to use that wall to walk, but other top position grapplers can pin their opponents to the fence and keep them grounded.
Yeah, one of my favorite moves to do if I'm in the position that Lamar Reed has right now is I put my hands on my opponent's chest and then I pop up and then I actually put my chest up against the cage, and that effectively bends them in half and takes away all their power. But what he's doing looks pretty good as well.
Cervera again trying to hold Reed close, not allow any space for him to posture up and rain down punches.
That's a technique that's gonna prevent someone from getting hurt, and it'll buy time if someone's hurt. But I'd really like to see him get up or try to work some sweeps, take a couple punches on the way to stand up, but anything to change up the way that it's already going right now.
Yeah, for Cervera, he's sort of accepting this position rather than trying to work his way out of it. Lamar Reed now stacked up here. 2.5 minutes remain here in round number 2, halfway point of the fight. TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, Tachi Palace Fights 33. Bantamweight Championship on the line as the machine Rolando Velasco returns to the TPF cage. Get at us on Twitter at TJ DeSantis, at Leslie Smith _GF. Use the hashtag TPF33. Can opener there by Lamar Reed. Use it to throw right hand. More offense here from Reed. He stands, but you see Cervera was able to get his feet on the hips, trying to push away. The aggression here now getting turned up by Lamar Reed.
I wonder if they had a code that halfway through this round he was going to pick it up.
Looking at Cervera, if he's going to have any offense in this round or in this fight thus far, it's going to have to come from his back. But having his head against the fence like that, Leslie, that really inhibits his ability to try to turn for an armbar or try to be aggressive off of his back in the ways of submissions.
Yeah, although sometimes they can catch the other person. But you're right. Unless someone has specifically trained a lot of submissions up against the cage, it can throw a little bit of a wrench in the usual method.
Mark Lawley had seen enough on the floor, makes him stand. I thought Lamar Reed was, maybe not the most aggressive there, but he was still doing enough work, I thought, to keep the position, but I'm not the referee.
So another thing that Cervera could do in this situation that he's in, which is where he's just getting taken down, is he could also start throwing some kicks. Kicks can work two ways. They can either give someone your legs so they can take you down, or they can keep your distance and keep them away from you.
Cervera, though, he's been taken down twice. I mean, not much to lose if he does want to throw kicks. Ooh, nice combination there. Trying to grab a guillotine is Cervera, but wisely passing is Reed. Got to be careful of that Von Flue choke. We've seen that a few times this year.
I wonder if he's going to go for it. Oh, I was hoping. I'm a fan of that one.
It's a great submission, one that you haven't seen, over the years in MMA all that often, but it's been making a comeback the last couple. Now back in mount is Lamar Reed.
It was a nice pass, too.
Yeah, more aggression here from Lamar Reed. Final seconds here of round number 2.
Man, I am impressed with Lamar Reed's control and how he's just been able to maintain this attack, relentless attack. He's doing damage. I'm looking at Ray Cervera. There's no blood or anything like that, but it doesn't look like he's been going for a walk in the park.
Yeah, I mean, Cervera has been durable in the past and durable here tonight, but you can't be content with that ground positioning of Lamar Reed. If you're forced to fight off your back for the better part of 10 minutes, you're down big in this third round. Ray Cervera's right there. Walk us through some of this action, Leslie.
Oh, yeah, there he threw that overhand trying to look for the takedown, but he was smart. He didn't force it, and then just a couple seconds later, he was able to get that takedown, move straight into the side control.
What I like from Lamar Reed is early in the fight we saw him push the pace and get the takedown of his own, and in that last round he waited for Cervera to come after him a little bit, and when Ray overcommitted to throwing punches in combination, that's when he lowered his elevation and got the shot there too. So we've seen Lamar Reed be able to react but also act with the takedown.
And he looks good going into the third round. He looks happy and excited and ready to go.
Back up for me.
A sign of sportsmanship as we head into the final 5 minutes.
Body ready? Fight!
Ray Cervera definitely needs a stoppage here if he wants to walk away with this one. We'll see what he does here to try to turn up the aggression in our final period.
So last time, Lamar Reed kind of played the snake charmer to get Cervera's hands, get his mind off of the takedowns, and then went for it. So I wonder if that's what's going to happen again this round.
Saw Cervera with a nice left hand counter punch there by Baby Ray. He's a bit more hesitant here in this third round than he was in the second round with his punches, probably because he got taken down.
Yes. It can have that effect.
Loading up with the left hand is Lamar Reed.
I like that left hand. He's been doing it all night long, that lunging left hook. It's nice. It covers a lot of ground, and he's got the reach on the ground to where he can cover that distance.
Yeah, you can see Lamar Reed very comfortable in this fight. Anytime he's wanted to take it to the floor, he has, and now he's testing to stand up a little bit here.
He is loosening up a little bit more this round. I appreciate that he didn't in the other 2 rounds, though, because, well, it shows humility, I feel like. A lot of people get overconfident sometimes, and then that's when something bad happens. And so it was nice to see him stay to the grindstone and open up a little bit this round.
And talking about that left hand of Reed, he hasn't really done much by way of setting it up, but it works well for him, that lunging lead left. There's the overhand right there. Cervera wise to it, moves out of the way.
There's some nice head movement. from Lamar Reed as he moved in.
And Reed now in up against the fence here. He's got an underhook.
So what Ray Cervera would like to do, ideally, is take that right hand and push it against the head of Lamar Reed, create a little bit of space there, and then he can take his left hand and get the underhook on Lamar Reed.
Reed's got to watch his neck. Cervera trying to frame up that guillotine. Reed wisely able to evade, moves back to space. Coming up later on this evening, we kick off the opening rounds of a 4-man heavyweight tournament. Tell you more about that, the return of Muhammad Usman, a little bit later on this evening here in Lemoore. Less than 2.5 remain in this third and final round.
We got to see something big from Ray if he's going to make a change. I think he should go for a takedown.
I mean, at this point, it really doesn't have anything to lose. And, ooh, nice combination, stiff left there. But now Reed again pushing the action, trying to get in on a big takedown. Cervera's got that neck, trying to sit with it, arm in guillotine here. Reed definitely worried about it, just wills his way out, though, pushing Cervera away. That's about the most effective offense I think Ray Cervera has had thus far in this fight. While Reed didn't panic, he definitely was in some trouble for a brief moment.
Yeah, he respected that grip on the head.
I like what Reed's doing here, the sign of a real gritty, grinding wrestler. You can't headbutt, but posting up and putting pressure down on Ray Cervera's head with his own head, that's just not fun to feel.
No, it's not very fun to feel. It can be a little bit dangerous, though, because when your hips get that high above your head, if you have a very aggressive person off their back, they can swing for that armbar. But I think he felt that he wasn't in trouble. Danger.
Touch over a minute remaining in this one. We talk about the durability and the patience of Ray Cervera. Sometimes he's able to outlast his opponents. Lamar Reed has been able to put his foot on the gas pedal and keep it going now for about 14 minutes. I don't think Ray Cervera is going to be able to wait this one out.
No, Lamar Reed did a great job of managing his energy to have full use of it at the end of the rounds.
Never say never, though. You have Ray Cervera closing his guard up. The short's getting mighty low on Lamar Reed.
It's true. Some submissions can take less than a second before they're on.
30 seconds here remain in this contest. Lamar Reed posturing up, lands a nice right hand and a left. Cervera forced to move. The pressure of Lamar Reed just a little bit too much for Ray Cervera here tonight. Final 10 seconds.
Ray Cervera has been holding on so tightly. Earlier, I don't know if you can tell, but his entire body was off the ground as he was holding on to Lamar Reed.
Nice flurry of punches for Lamar Reed. Puts a bow on this one. 15 minutes in the books. And, you know, they say sometimes I wouldn't want to be a judge. I think the judge's job pretty easy in our opening contest here.
I think it is pretty easy to make the decision. It'll be interesting to see what actual numbers they settle on.
I mean, going back to that first round, it was the most dominant round from a position standpoint. 10-8s are being encouraged a lot throughout mixed martial arts, and some commissions have yet to adopt those rules. That's one rule, I think, though, Leslie. It doesn't necessarily have to be adopted. The mentality of a judge is changing, and we'll see if they award him with a 10-8. But walk us through some of this offense from Lamar Reed.
Yeah, Lamar Reed was throwing. Baby Ray Cervera was throwing back. Here was the submission attempt where Ray Cervera, you can see that he had his forearm was underneath the chin of Lamar Reed, and Lamar Reed had to lift his head up in order to get out of it. This was that ending flurry, I think, right there.
Solid 15 minutes of work for Lamar Reed, just the way he wanted to, I think, work. I mean, he doesn't get the stoppage, but again, about as dominant as a fight he could hope for with the guy that is as durable as Ray Cervera, and he was in control, and besides a brief moment where Cervera flirted with the guillotine, really wasn't in trouble at all in this one.
And I think that a lot of that has to do, yes, his skills, but there can be people who are skilled who don't pull it together like that. I think he did a really good job of being mentally mature and smart about everything he did in there.
The judges have tallied their 10s and 9s. Let's throw it up to Tyson Johnson for our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for both of these gladiators. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge number 1 scored the bout 30-26. Judge number 2 scored the bout 30-25. And judge number 3 scores the bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Lamar Lion King Reed.
No surprise there. Lamar Reed getting it done via unanimous decision, and the judges responded in kind, 30-26, 30-25, and 30-27. Again, we see the progression in judging to reward dominance in mixed martial arts. 2 judges took some points.
So that's what you were saying, is that it's not a change in policy as much a change in mentality?
But there is a change in policy in certain athletic commissions. Some commissions haven't necessarily changed the language in mixed martial arts when it comes to the judging criteria. That said, I think the mentality, even if you're judging in a commission that has yet to adopt the rules, the writing is on the wall. So here we go, that one-way traffic by Lamar Reed, getting it done. Solid stuff by this young man here tonight at Tachi Palace Fights 33. More action straight ahead here in Lemoore. Up next in Lemoore, it's a catchweight contest between newcomer Jose Avalos and Visalia's Devin Chavez. Making his professional debut here tonight, the 25-year-old Jose Avalos looks to be aggressive as he hunts for the first win in his mixed martial arts career. Standing in his way will be the always game Devin Chavez. Nicknamed the Dude, Chavez looks to make a statement tonight as he too will look for the first win of his professional career. Straight ahead, it's Jose Avalos meeting Devin the Dude Chavez. The Dude Devin Chavez making the walk to the TPF cage for the second time in his MMA career. He says he's one of the happiest, most easygoing fighters you could ever meet, and when you're nicknamed the Dude, I don't know if it's necessarily a nod to the Big Lebowski. You kind of got to be an easygoing guy, and Devin Chavez is that.
Fair enough. I immediately went to Big Lebowski. I was kind of hoping he was going to walk out in a robe and with a white Russian, but
maybe later. We'll save the White Russian for post-fight. Devin Chavez fighting out of Visalia, California. He said he started fighting simply just to become a better person, physically and mentally and emotionally. And you find that a lot with fighters. I mean, mixed martial arts is a martial art, and martial artists, they really change a lot through their journey of training. And Devin Chavez says that he's a better person with MMA in his life.
I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for anybody who manages to find an outlet where they can make themselves better, but especially when they can do MMA or martial art. It really helped me become a better version of myself as well. I learned how to respect myself and all the people around me a whole lot more. I didn't really like people in general as much as I do now before I started fighting.
You like me, right? We're friends?
Yes, we're good friends.
Thank you, Leslie. Scared me there. Chavez trains with the One Kick Gym, and he's already fought here before. It was a loss, but getting that first pro fight out of the way, that helps a lot with the nerves and just the mentality coming into a fight like this.
Totally, and it can be a different perspective coming into a fight like this. When you're when you have nothing, you want to get that first win. You want to start it all off. When you're 0-1, you're like, dude, this is just for me. This is for my heart and my soul, and that can make you fight a little bit differently.
The Dude Devin Chavez ready to pick up his first professional victory. Also hunting for his first professional victory is Jose Avalos. He comes from a wrestling background. He's been training mixed martial arts and getting ready to fight for the last year. But with that said, he's also been focusing on other martial arts for the last 3 years. Comes from that wrestling base, but has spent significant time practicing Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that is unique to modern-day mixed martial arts. I think 10, 15 years ago, you would see wrestlers come in straight to their professional career as a wrestler, but someone like Avalos has been able to add the, other martial arts required to be a mixed martial artist before he made his pro debut. So while he's young in that MMA career, not really young in mixing the martial arts.
Yeah, and that shows how far things have come from where they used to be when it was a classic grappler versus boxer versus the wrestler. Things have definitely changed where people train so much and train everything and put it all together, so they're actually training MMA before they step into MMA.
TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith here, cage side, Lemoore, California. Don't forget our main event. We have the Machine, Rolando Velasco, returning, trying to capture a bantamweight championship. It's a belt that he lost very narrowly to Cody Gibson. He wants to get back in the swing of things and get back right where he left off, and that was being the champion of the 135-pound division. All right, our second fight about to get underway here. Jose Avalos making his pro debut, and let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this catchweight contest. The dude, Devin Chavez, 2 inches taller than Jose Avalos. We see the weight discrepancy there. Both of these guys going to be bantamweights moving forward, but tonight the catchweight is at 141. Avalos on point at 135. Avalos 1 year the elder of Devin Chavez. For our official introductions, here's Tyson Johnson.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this next bout will be 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 142 pounds. He represents One Kicks Gym with a record of 0 wins and 1 defeat. He hails from Visalia, California. Please welcome Devin the Dude Chavez. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 140 pounds. He represents the Ralph House Fight Gym, making his fight debut out of Parlier, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jose Avalos. Your referee for this bout will be Jason McCoy.
Jason McCoy getting this catchweight assignment. Jose Avalos, the fan favorite inside the bingo hall, taking on Devin Chavez. Avalos in the red, the dude Chavez in the black.
I'm going to have to thank them later on for wearing shorts that actually correspond with their gloves.
High kick misses for Chavez. Both these gentlemen do have amateur experience.
That was a loud kick.
Chavez, the aggressor, the corner of Avalos saying he's going to come chase you, so maybe they're content to counter-strike. Now it's Avalos taking the center of the cage. Bit of a feeling out process here early.
A lot of touching of the front gloves. That's a big part of the feeling out process.
Ooh, nice left hand by Avalos, now in on the takedown attempt. Nice whizzer employed there by Chavez, able to stay on his feet, but now press against the fence. Avalos sticking with it, showing that wrestling early. Now he's inside.
So smooth with the wrestling. I don't think he ever stopped from the second. He just kept on chaining it.
Nice experience displayed there by Avalos in his pro debut. That initial shot sometimes doesn't always pay dividends, but it's the secondary shot that wrestlers like to employ and get the fight before. That's what we saw from Avalos.
Totally. He's being smart how Avalos is lifting up the head of Chavez. That prevents Chavez from being able to push off the cage.
Chavez able to get a half butterfly, settles for half guard. Oh, nicely done there. Avalos grabbed the fence. I don't know if that aided him back to his feet, but a little bit of a fence grab. Nice knee. Elbow attempt by Chavez. Nice right hand in the clinch here. These guys are getting grimy.
This is non-stop. This fight is awesome.
Chavez lands a nice right hand. Avalos backing straight up. Now in on a takedown. Underhook tried to be employed here by Chavez, but it gets dumped down. Immediately back to side is Avalos. frenetic action here halfway through round number 1. Chavez trying to move, some left hands getting through by Avalos. The bingo hall getting loud here for Jose Avalos.
Yeah, there's no danger of anyone being told to work on the ground in this fight.
North-south position here for Avalos. You gotta be careful. Oh, you gotta be careful. I think he's trying to isolate that right arm, but could accidentally get dinged for an illegal knee to the head of a grounded opponent. Looks like he's trying to isolate that left arm of Chavez. Chavez trying to move.
He's doing a great job of striking in so many different ways with his left hand, with his right elbow, with his right knee. I really like the way he's mixing up his whole offense.
Chavez trying to induce a scramble, but not able to get free. Stepping over to mount is Avalos. Nicely done. Touch over 90 seconds for him to work here. Posturing up, nice elbow by Avalos.
Avalos has that body triangle. It can make it really, really, really hard to get away from someone, but it looks like Chavez is doing a good job of defending his neck.
And Chavez looked like he was going to try to get to his base and readjust, but it's Avalos on that back ride, 70 seconds.
Oh, you know what? We didn't have the angle. I couldn't see that he has the gift wrap, how he's holding onto the hand. Dude, that just makes you feel like you have no options and nowhere to go.
It's really like a big brother move. It's a bullying tactic.
Totally. Exactly what it is, because you can't get far enough away to hit them in such a way that it's, you know, huge and intense and going to stop the fight generally. But they can't get away, so you can just keep on going.
Nice adjustment there by Avalos, readjusting, getting back on top. Chavez trying to get him out. Maybe we'll see if he can go through the back door. Nice adjustment again, though, by Avalos. Nice wrestling on display, keeping those hooks.
It looked like Chavez was going to try to shake him off, and then Avalos grabbed his arms and started pulling his arms up, and that can just kill the shoulders.
Mentioned Avalos, 7 years of wrestling, really showing his wrestling game off here, and again, controlling that arm. This is nicely done here by Avalos. Chavez forced to really defend all of these strikes with one hand. While these strikes aren't super powerful, they are adding up. Nicely done, Jose Avalos. That was a perfect round for him. I mean, Chavez was definitely game, had some moments, but for a fun, action-packed fight, Jose Avalos finishes that first round with some emphasis there, and I think the judges are going to give him a nod for that first round due to the back control and, honestly, the bullying tactics that he employed against Devin Chavez.
And I love seeing those, because those wear someone down mentally just as much as they do physically. This, I love how he chained everything together. I think he maybe did another attempt at the beginning that led into that one. This was a nice move by Cervera, getting back up.
You know, looking at Avalos here, his takedowns, he's almost passing the guard before Chavez is even on the floor. He's tilting his opponent in a way that when they do end up hitting the mat, he's already inside or half almost.
Yeah, it's beautiful the way he's doing it with that bottom hand. It's lovely. His coach told me earlier when they were checking in, he said Jose Avalos is chiquitos pero picosos.
Looks like the doctor is calling it. I don't know what was wrong with Devin Chavez. Something has caused either him, his corner, or doctor to stop the fight. And Jose Avalos victorious, it looks like. We'll see what the official word is here in a moment, but technically a TKO, as Devin Chavez will not answer the bell for round number 2. An unfortunate anticlimactic way to end this one, but while it was going on, it was action-packed to say the least.
It was action-packed and fun. It looked like Chavez was grabbing his shoulder when he went in to talk to Avalos. I wonder if that came from the very end. I guess I'm going to have to ask him later on to find out.
We will find out. Tyson Johnson has our answer. Let's make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after one round of action, Dr. Mitch Jellin steps in to stop the action due to an injury for your winner. Ladies and gentlemen, by TKO, Jose Avalos.
Avalos getting it done. A TKO, an injury, unfortunately sustained by Devin Chavez. And for Jose Avalos, maybe not the exact way that he wanted his first win to come in mixed martial arts, but still a performance he can be proud of, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like he did every single aspect of MMA inside of that first round, and that is definitely something to be proud of. He had the nice striking, the takedowns, fended off a couple submissions. I love the bowling tactics. Holding that opposite hand, lovely.
See the wrestling offense from Jose Avalos. I think his next opponent is definitely going to study this tape and go, okay, I got to work on my sprawl if I'm going to have some success fighting this wrestling.
Yeah.
Jose Avalos gets the first win of his professional career here in Lemoore at TPF 33. The catchweight action continues at TPF 33 when veteran Drake Bone returns to Lemoore to welcome the promotional newcomer Farhad Muhammad. Fighting out of Field, California, the newly minted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Drake Bone is excited to continue his mixed martial arts journey. With exciting TPF performances in his past, Bone looks for another memorable win here tonight. For the first time in his career, Farhad Muhammad enters the TPF cage fresh off of a victory over UFC veteran YL Watson. Tonight, Muhammad looks to take out another veteran on his way to the top of the bantamweight division. Coming up next, it's Drake Sticks and Stones Bowen battling Farhad Muhammad. The action continues here at Tachi Palace Fights 33. Making his TPF debut is Farhad Muhammad, fighting out of Las Vegas. You've actually had the chance to call one of his fights in the past, Leslie.
Two of his fights, actually. One of his fights, it was a double DQ. They both got disqualified. There was an illegal blow. It seemed like an illegal blow. And then the referee tried to stop it, and both fighters were so deep into the fight that they kind of kept on going. So they both got a double DQ, but they said that they didn't hate each other, that they wanted to keep on going, and so it was rescheduled, and Farhad was able to come back in and redeem himself with a win.
Muhammad is a showman. You can see that here in his entrance, but just being in the room with him, he commands the room like a good comedian almost. When Farhad Muhammad is talking, everyone listens, and for good reason. Very charismatic, but also wants to put on a show when he gets in the cage as well.
Yes, he does. He wants to put on a show, and he wants to be respected for the show that he's putting on. He wants all the eyes, and he wants the smiles and the hearts of everybody that's watching him.
He's coming off a win over YL Watson, who is a UFC veteran. Watson actually fought here as well, and Watson actually sounds like he's retired since coming up short to Muhammad. So Muhammad has been in there with some, veterans, and really wants to make a statement here tonight. He takes on Drake Bowen, who is no stranger to the TPF cage. But for Muhammad, he is a Carlson Gracie brown belt, trains in Las Vegas. Said Roy Jones has actually worked with him in the boxing realm. So looking at him, he, in a lot of ways, is what you want in a mixed martial artist. Someone who really takes every single discipline very seriously, but also, as we see here, just a showman in so many ways. He gets people to care about him even if they've never seen him before.
Yes. Yes. Some would call that term polarizing.
Right.
And I think that he wants people to like him more than just care about him, but at the end of the day, I guess if people are saying your name, it doesn't matter if they say it in a good way or a bad way.
He was very intense yesterday at weigh-ins, got in the face of Drake Bowen, nose to nose, head to head, and Drake Bowen was like, it's fine. Like, matchmaker Richard Goodman tried to separate them a little bit, going, ease up, and Bowen's like, no, this is good. I don't mind this intensity. So if the weigh-in is any indication on what this fight's going to be, we're going to be in store for a treat, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, Farhad is Muhammad is a very exciting fighter to watch.
I think Muhammad might own the record for number of layers before getting into the cage. I think he's taken off 4 T-shirts at this point.
I was wondering if you were going to say layers or amount of time to get into the cage from the beginning to the end. Impressive to watch, though. Good layers.
Farhad Muhammad wants to make his TPF debut a memorable one, and he gets the opportunity to take on a very tough Drake Bowen, who actually just became a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we have a brown belt under Carlson Gracie and a black belt under Eric Nolan. We'll see if this fight hits the floor. But Farhad Muhammad, I think he's talked so long that his entrance music just stopped there a brief moment ago.
I think so. I hope he maybe he needs to call Genki Sudo and get some of Genki Sudo's background dancers
Oh,
come
man.
up and do something with him.
One of the best entrances in mixed martial arts for a very long time was Genki Sudo. We've run out of music here in Lemoore. All right, finally, Farhad Muhammad inside the TPF cage. Just blasted himself into the cage as well. Intensity from Farhad Muhammad. All right, fighting out of Bakersfield, California, Drake Bowen making the walk for the 6th time to the TPF cage. We mentioned newly minted black belt. He really wants to make his way to the big show, and no matter who Drake Bowen is fighting, he makes a show out of it. Some fans here for Drake Bowen have really learned to expect a fight from this young man, and he's very proud of that new black belt as well. We'll see if he can showcase those skills inside the cage.
Yeah, totally. I would imagine, I've never gotten a black belt myself, but I would imagine that once you get one of those, you'd want to show it off inside the cage.
You know, the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one for some people it takes a decade plus to get. Others can get it a bit quicker. Drake Bowen, should be proud of that accomplishment, but nothing I think would make him more proud than getting a win over Farhad Muhammad. And, he really welcomes the fight. He's been in there with Castle Williams, put on a classic here at Tachi Palace Fights, and I think he's going to be ready for a very aggressive Farhad Muhammad. We'll see if Muhammad comes out. In the past, when you've had a chance to see Muhammad, he is a pretty aggressive fighter, is he not?
Super aggressive, very high intensity, very high pace. Kind of like the last time I've gotten to see him, it was a little bit like Tasmanian devils running around, the cartoon version of them.
Right.
Yes. Not the, and I say that in the best way possible.
Drake Bowen inside the TPF cage. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this catchweight contest. The messenger, Farhad Muhammad, stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, significantly shorter than Sticks and Stones Drake Bowen. Catchweight contest at 140. Bowen came in 135.8. Muhammad is 1 year older. 5-3 the record for Bowen, 5-6 for Farhad Muhammad. For our official introductions, here's Tyson.
And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 139 pounds. He represents the Vegas tribe with a mixed martial arts record of 5 wins and 6 defeats. He hails from Las Vegas, Nevada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Farhad Muhammad. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 136 pounds. He represents Eric Nolan's fight team in Camarillo Jiu-Jitsu. He has a mixed martial arts record of 5 wins and 3 defeats. He hails from Bakersfield, California. Please welcome Drake Sticks and Stones Bowen. Your referee for this bout will be Josh Rosenthal.
Josh Rosenthal getting our catchweight assignment. Farhad Muhammad, Drake Bowen.
Sit back a little bit. All right, gentlemen, you ready? Let's go. You ready? Let's fight.
Big left hand misses there by Muhammad. See the kicking offense here from Bowen. Bowen much taller, 6 feet 1 inch tall. Extremely tall for a bantamweight.
He is tall and he fights very tall, and that is exactly what I was wondering was if that was going to happen. Was if Muhammad was going to be able to get under him because of how Bowen stands so tall.
We talk about that length of Bowen. Obviously, that plays a factor on the feet, but on the floor, Muhammad needs to be wary of those legs as well because it's difficult being in the guard of someone with as long legs as Drake Bowen as well.
Yes. Long legs can do all kinds of crazy things when people know what to do with them.
Muhammad now in the closed guard here. Look at a foot on the hip, does Bowen.
It was Muhammad who was pushing to get them closer to the cage, and Bowen is actively pushing the cage to get away from it. He does not want his back on the cage. Nice stand-up.
Looked like Muhammad was maybe going to stand up and try to slam him, but then he was able to get back to his feet. But another takedown here for Muhammad. Boxing the ears here is Bowen. Slapping them, forcing, air into the eardrum. That can mess up your equilibrium quite a bit.
It can be horrible, especially if your ears are already messed up. And if you have cauliflower ear, just to get that feeling on the ear is infuriating. It really looks like it's Bowen who's doing more work on this ground position than Muhammad at this point.
Muhammad, I think, needs to be really wary. I mean, he does have a lot of experience in mixed martial arts, but being on the floor with a black belt that is long, with the legs as Drake Bowen, he needs to be not too conservative, but needs to be careful to say the least.
There's that slam that you were talking about earlier. Little slam, little baby slam.
See Bowen bringing that guard up high. It seems like Muhammad's answer to a high guard from Bowen is going to be to try to threaten with the slam. We see again that high guard, the flexibility on point here for Drake Bowen. When you talk about the aggressive nature of Drake Bowen on the floor, you don't necessarily know if the judges are going to reward that. I mean, a fighter on their back, when he eats punches like that, is definitely going to be on the losing side of things. But if he's able to maintain, an aggressive nature, we'll see if the judges can award a round for a fighter that is aggressive off his back.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough, though. You're right, as far as getting the reward for that, because it's harder to get a lot of power from the strikes when you're from the bottom.
Gentlemen,
so it would make more sense to try to stand up and go for things.
Josh Rosenthal telling them to keep busy, but it doesn't matter. Muhammad stands. Ooh, nice left and right hand. Drake Bowen might be in trouble. Farad Muhammad with another left and right. Bowen in trouble. Farad Muhammad trying to finish it here. Bowen trying to get his wits back with him. A lot of head movement here, but I think Bowen is still very much wobbled. Now trying to slow it down is Bowen, working. Looks like he's trying to get this guillotine, but also stepping in, maybe trying to take the back here for Muhammad. Wow, nicely done. In on a rear naked choke is Drake Bowen.
Smooth.
Close to a defeat, Drake Bowen, now close to a victory. Farad Muhammad trying to hang tough. Bowen needs to readjust his grip, and he does so. It looked like Muhammad was close to pounding him out, but now he's purely defensive. Drake Bowen in full mount, minute to work.
I'm impressed with the way that he kept his wits about him. Muhammad had some great accuracy with like 2 or 3 shots in a row. And then for Bowen to calmly and collectively look for that takedown and get it to this position where they're at right now, where he's mounted. He's got all kinds of options in his jiu-jitsu repertoire.
Looking at Bowen, though, he's controlled early, Leslie, and then, was nearly stopped on the feet. He's got 30 seconds here. I think he needs to work still quite aggressively if he wants to steal this round.
I agree with you. One thing that I like to do in the position is I'll take my hand and then I'll put it on the other person's face, sometimes right underneath the nose. It's really that nose that helps me to pry it away. Sometimes if I'm having a lot of difficulty doing that, I'll step up a foot so that I'm not just on my knees, and that helps, but he got out of it anyway.
Final 10 seconds here. Muhammad trying to move. Armbar upcoming maybe for Bowen. He missed it. Settles inside. Time is going to run out for Drake Sticks and Stones Bowen. What a first round.
That was super exciting.
When you see the intensity pre-fight, sometimes it fails to live up to that intensity when the bell actually sounds, but this one not disappointing. This entire card thus far has been pretty entertaining.
I am very happy to be here with these wonderful seats and getting to watch this. I'm fascinated. So before the first round, Muhammad was making eyes at Bowen and telling him, I'm right here, and here I am, and doing a lot of talking, and Bowen was kind of trying to ignore him. And now it's total change for Muhammad. He's sitting on his stool facing the crowd, not even looking at his opponent. I guess maybe now that the fight has started, he doesn't need to jump inside the head.
Drake Bowen said that he was always drawn to fighting, and I think it's because of things like this. He faced some adversity here, Leslie, but was able to come back.
Yeah, this is where he got rocked. That right hand was the one that I think made the biggest difference. But he kept it together.
On the back was Drake Bowen. Muhammad was close to getting stopped with this rear naked choke. We can't see the grip here, but Bowen was really selling out for it. But as we enter round number 2, we'll see what adjustments both of these fighters make. I'm sure Muhammad's going to want to stay on top here and be the aggressive fighter, not the defensive fighter that Drake Bowen made him be in the final part of that first round. Muhammad very comfortable on his feet. He does have the confidence, but got to make sure he doesn't eat kicks like that. Bowen has been finished on the feet. Richard Parr was able to knock him out in 6 seconds. Muhammad landing some punches there. Tell him to get up.
Fight.
So, based on that exchange, I'm going to guess that Muhammad's game plan for this round is to land the strikes. He must feel like he has the striking advantage, which he has shown to be successful with landing those.
Nice jab there by Bowen, gets through. I like the kicking offense here of Drake Bowen as well. Comes high with it. Muhammad saying there's nothing there.
The crowd is loving it. I'm loving it.
Pace slowing a little bit here. Looks like Bowen's trying to make Muhammad react before he throws a strike. Oh, nice left hand counter left by Muhammad. He admires his work. Looked like he caught him on the cup.
Good.
Some nice sportsmanship there.
No worse for the wear. It was Muhammad that actually called out that low blow.
Ooh, those hurt so bad. The double shin smash. Ooh.
Yeah, not my idea of a fun Thursday night. Nice left hand, a clash of heads there. Muhammad able to get double unders. Look at this, Drake Bowen able to settle in on top. Half guard employed here by Muhammad. Muhammad saying something. I don't know if it's to the referee or the corner. Some elbows down to the body by Drake Bowen.
That leg is right there too, and that's a nice angle to get elbows on the leg as well.
Looking at where Bowen is landing those elbows, that is the liver side. Nicely done. Muhammad able to get a sweep. Back inside the closed guard of Drake Bowen is Farad Muhammad.
And Bowen's going back for the slapping the ears again.
Nice elbow by Muhammad. Muhammad constantly talking to Drake Bowen.
And Josh Rosenthal looks very amused by it this whole time.
Looks like Bowen's trying to isolate that right arm of Farad Muhammad. Thought he was going to try to pivot off and use the fence to enter an armbar position, but Muhammad instead used the arm to land a nice right elbow.
I'm not sure what Bowen was trying to go for there. Yeah, what you were talking about, spinning off the cage. There's a lot of takedown, a lot of submissions that you can get from isolating one of the arms. It almost looked like he had opened up the guard and was going to go for a sweep, and then thought better of it.
High guard again implemented by Drake Bowen. Corner of Muhammad, I think, lobbying for a stand-up is interesting. 90 seconds remain here in round number 1.
That's it.
A lot of short elbows are landing from Muhammad. And those are demoralizing. They haven't cut him open, but those are the ones that tend to lump up later on, and you can still feel them weeks later.
More boxing in the ears by Drake Bowen.
All right, clean break.
Josh Rosenthal, seen enough there on the floor, going to stand him back up.
All right, gentlemen, let's go. Fight.
Less than a minute remains here. Nice left hand on the back with Drake Bowen. Saw a look of panic there by Farad Muhammad for a brief moment. Now Bowen inside, north-south.
Bowen's got 45 seconds left. I hope he does a submission attempt.
This is exactly where we were in the first round, with Bowen being controlled primarily throughout the round and was able to get on top here in the latter part, but now 30 seconds left with Muhammad on top. There's that long, rangy length of Bowen here, able to wrap up Muhammad. Muhammad says, all right, I can still strike you here. Now in on a leg is Drake Bowen. Grabbing the fence, though, is Muhammad. Rosenthal telling him to get his fingers out of the fence. Final 10 seconds. Muhammad is just having a good time no matter where this fight takes place. Always smiling, always talking.
He is enjoying himself. That was shades of combat jiu-jitsu right there for a second with the butt slap.
It was. I remember that all too well. All right, 10 minutes in the books. Drake Bowen, Rod Muhammad putting on a show. Looking at the high points of both fighters, I think the judges may be leaning towards Rod Muhammad because when he's in control, his actions, movements are a lot bigger than Drake Bowen's. Yes, and that is something that matters a lot to the judges, is the significant events that get the crowds going like that. That was a good one. This is where Bowen was able to take him down and take his back, because that was where he's saying Farhad had that slight slip and slight panic. Oh, and he was so close to going for a leg finish right there. So much potential. I can't wait to see what this next round is going to hold. Looking at Bowen, who's had the top position a few times, I think in that last part, Leslie, of the second round, he was almost a bit more aggressive than he maybe could or should have been. He kind of lost that position because I think he was trying to pressure Farhad a lot and maybe try to get that round stolen. Totally. When he was trying to land those, when he was landing the elbows to the liver, like you said, and it got him off base, and it enabled the sweep that Muhammad got. Final 5 minutes here between Farhad Muhammad, Drake Bowen, TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith. Cage side, Bingo Hall, inside the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino, TPF 33. Appreciate you joining us live on SureDog.com. I would love to see Bowen start throwing more kicks because... Oh, beautifully done, but it was Drake Bowen that was dropped by his own high kick. And Muhammad just talking to him. Muhammad talking and also acting. Nice takedown for him. Settles in half guard. You got to be careful when you talk to your opponent like that. You don't want to get highlight reeled and then go viral. No, and that has happened before. But Muhammad looks like he's doing a good job of using his talking to enrage and make Bowen use less than intelligent decisions. That is one thing that definitely can happen. The product of the way Muhammad is talking. Nice shoulder shrug there. Rosenthal making sure that there's not an accidental headbutt. Wow, hammer fist, right hands, left hands by Muhammad. He's telling Drake Bowen, I'm here. Bowen not able to really do much about it. Although Bowen clearly did not like getting hit from a postured up Muhammad, and he's holding him down now, which maybe that'll lead to the stand-up. I think Muhammad just told Josh Rosenthal that he wants to knock him out and that he should be ready. Now the action slowing a little bit here. Now he's telling Drake Bowen to hit him. I don't think I've ever heard a fighter talk more than Farhad Muhammad. And it's just got to be demoralizing for Drake Bowen. Yeah, it's got to be infuriating. He's telling Josh Rosenthal to stand them up from the closed guard of Drake Bowen. A very amusing fight. It is something else, to say the least. 2.5 minutes remain here in round number 3. You know, Muhammad telling Drake Bowen to fight, but Muhammad's the one in top position right now. And Muhammad's the one who isn't doing anything except for just yelling. I don't know. I mean, they say sticks and stones will break your bones. It's the nickname of Drake Bowen, and I wonder if the words of Muhammad are hurting him. Because at this point, like, it is demoralizing. Drake Bowen's not able to do anything here. Muhammad's just maintaining position. Yes.
All right, clean break.
Josh Rosenthal seen enough, wants to stand him up.
I told you that I need you to dance. You didn't. Gentlemen, fight.
He told them to dance, and he did it.
What's interesting is Muhammad was telling Josh Rosenthal, stand us up, and then I think he was complaining that they got stood up.
Oh, I guess that would lead to that comment. Yeah, good point.
90 seconds here in round number 3 remain. Drake Bowen trying to land on top here, scramble position. Nicely done, Muhammad able to win the scramble. 70 seconds remain.
It looks like we're going to see some exchanges on the feet for the last minute of this.
Some swelling underneath the left eye of Drake Bowen. Muhammad just hit it with the right hand. Nice stiff jab there. Loading up, going to the body with the strike. Now takedown is Farad Muhammad.
Man, Muhammad doesn't even need to change levels. He just pushes straight into him, and then down they go.
A lot more powerful inside the clinch is Farad Muhammad. Now in half guard here of Drake Bowen.
It's work, gentlemen.
I don't know what he's saying. Man, we need a mic on him.
Seriously. Bowen trying to push off the fence with his left foot.
It's work.
Rosenthal telling him to work. See if we get a stand up here with less than 30 seconds remaining.
So if he's not going to close his hands to hold him in, then it would be a nice idea to get his hands inside and frame on the biceps, because that'll prevent strikes as well.
Trying to elevate Muhammad. Is Bowen able to get on top? Looked like Muhammad was going to go for the leg, but time has run out. What a fight.
That was quite the fight. Entertaining from the very beginning until the very end.
Nice sign of respect by these two gentlemen. Interesting embrace here after Muhammad did as much talking as he did throughout the 15 minutes.
I don't think I'd be able to hug anybody who talked to me like that. I don't think I'd be able to handle that, to tell you the truth. Oh well, I guess I like anybody after I beat him.
Let's see what the judges say. Got to believe that Farad Muhammad is en route to his first TPF victory. I think he won over quite a few fans in here. I mean, he's got to be one of the more entertaining fighters in the cage for a variety of reasons. Leslie, walk us through some of this action.
Well, first of all, we can't hear, but we can see his mouth going. And he got that takedown, smooth takedown. Is this where he's about to land that right hand? I hope that we get to see that. This is where, see, he doesn't need to change levels. He just goes in, grabs the body lock, hooks behind the leg, and then just pushes, and down they go.
Incredibly strong is Farad Muhammad. Shot of Drake Bowen there, lumped up. There's Farad Muhammad and his daughter.
That's got to be a cool moment for his daughter hanging out in there.
Absolutely amazing. I think it'd be nerve-wracking to see a parent fight, but Muhammad putting on a show in more than one way inside the cage. Should be en route to his first TPF win.
That's exciting for him.
Judges tallying their 10s and 9s. Don't forget, coming up later tonight, a 4-man heavyweight tournament kicks off. Details coming up very shortly. All right, let's make this one official. Here's Tyson.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for both of these gladiators. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 exciting rounds, we go to these judges' scorecards. Judge number 1 scores about 29-28. Judge number 2 scores about 30-26. And judge number 3 scores about 30-27. All for your winner. Out of the blue corner, Farad Muhammad.
Farad Muhammad getting it done via decision. I'm excited to see Farad Muhammad moving forward. He's entertaining to say the least, and he talks a lot, but he has the skill to back it up as well.
Yes, and that seems to be something that's happened. He's progressing both of his skill and his talking abilities.
Farad Muhammad, I think he's going to be one of those guys that either the fans love or love to hate.
Either way, they tune in to watch that.
Absolutely. Farad Muhammad getting it done over Drake Bowen tonight. We'll see what is up next for him. But a fighter to keep your eye on, to say the least. He moves his record to 6-6, and I think that record may not adequately represent his skills inside the cage. A 500 fighter, but I think on any given night he can really have a good performance and maybe turn some heads.
Yeah, we've seen it here, and I've seen it before. He definitely can carry a night.
It was Drake Bowen, Farad Muhammad. Muhammad was able to really put on a show with a variety of techniques, but when he was in control, Leslie, he didn't let up.
No, relentless, except for when he was on top. And then he did let up. He was doing a lot of talking, but man, the moves were good. This was that submission attempt at the very beginning. Could have been over right there.
It was super close. He talked with his mouth, obviously, but also with his hands. Farad Muhammad making an impact and a statement in his TPF debut here tonight. All right, up next, lightweights take the TPF cage.
Lightweights are ready to tangle in Lemoore as the undefeated Art Hernandez squares off against Isidro Gutierrez. Undefeated as a professional, Art Hernandez has picked up 3 straight victories without a single opponent making it to the final bell. With stoppages coming by way of both TKO and submission, Hernandez has proven to be dangerous anywhere the fight goes. After coming up short to Armando Espinoza in his TPF debut, Isidro Gutierrez would like nothing more than to erase the memories of his last loss while erasing the 0 in Hernandez's loss column. Tonight, he'll call upon all of the skills necessary to ensure his first TPF victory. Coming up next, it's Art Warhorse Hernandez meeting Isidro Gutierrez.
Isidro Gutierrez making the second walk in his career to the TPF cage. He came up short to Armando Espinoza. That was in August of this year. It's the first time he had lost as a professional or an amateur, and there's nothing a fighter wants to do more than get back in the winning column, and Isidro Gutierrez wants to make a statement here tonight against the undefeated Art Hernandez.
That's the best people to make a statement against. Nothing like going after an undefeated fighter and trying to make your permanent mark on their record.
He's got big goals here inside the Tachi Palace Fights cage. Said that he wants to get back in the win column and slowly but surely climb that ladder. When you win a TPF title, it's a statement. It's a bit of validation for any young fighter here. A lot of fighters that are able to capture TPF gold go on to big things, fighting under the biggest lights, the brightest lights in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, a lot of the big fighters right now started off here.
No doubt about it. Isidro Gutierrez wants to follow in their footsteps. He looks for the first win of his TPF career here tonight in Lemoore. Fighting out of Livingston, California, Isidro Gutierrez takes the Tachi Palace Fights cage. His opponent, the 33-year-old Art Hernandez, comes from a wrestling base, trains with Jose Avilos, who we saw earlier. Looking at Art Hernandez, he has 3 wins. Thus far, no opponent has seen the final bell, and he wants to maintain that aggressive nature. He says, I just want to finish fights, and thus far he's been able to do that every time out.
Yeah, looking back at some of his other fights, I was really impressed with his cage control and then the takedowns that he got off of those cage controls.
Really likes to put on a show, and if you're going to climb the ranks and capture a TPF belt, obviously the win is important, but style points can go a long way as well. And so far, Art Hernandez has been able to win in dramatic fashion, getting stoppages, and no better way to jockey for position among the rankings than by getting wins and doing so by way of finish.
Yes, finishes are so exciting to watch, and they just feel so good getting to go home and know that you got what you wanted to get on that other person.
Nicknamed the War Horse, he was born in Mexico, now training and living out of Fresno, California. You see a lot of fighters in the Central Valley, making the trek from Fresno. And, this is as good a time as any to talk about the significance and importance of this promotion in the Central Valley, and also, too, just up and down the West Coast. I mean, we talk about some of the fighters here capturing TPF gold and going on to the bigger shows. to have this not far from where you live and train is really a luxury. A lot of fighters that train throughout the world don't have a show accessible like Tachi Palace Fights to them, not far away from home.
Being able to go to a show like this really adds a lot of fuel to the fire, and it enables you to get even more stoked on fighting. Even if you enjoy and you get a huge kick out of stuff inside of the gym, love the training, like to watch the fights on TV, there's just nothing that can really duplicate the way that you feel the energy when you're inside of a show like this. And sitting in the cage, sitting in the stands and watching these fights go down and watching all the fighters and thinking, I could take that one, I could beat that one, it just gets that fire going.
Art Hernandez ready to step inside the TPF cage. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this lightweight contest. Both men stand 5 feet 9 inches tall, both on point. 156 for Hernandez, 155.2 for Isidro Gutierrez. 8 years the elder is the war horse. 25 years old is Isidro Gutierrez. 3-0 the record for Hernandez. 2-1 for Chilo. For our official introductions, here's Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next Tachi Palace fight will be 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 155 pounds. He's representing Team Pain with a mixed martial arts record of 2 wins and 1 defeat. He hails from Fresno, California. Please welcome Isidro Chilo Gutierrez. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 156 pounds. He represents Rouse House Fight Gym with an undefeated record of 3 wins and 0 defeats. He hails from Fresno, California. Please welcome Art Warhorse Hernandez. Your referee for this bout will be Jason McCoy.
Jason McCoy getting our lightweight assignments. It is Isidro Gutierrez and Fresno's Art Hernandez.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Fight!
TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, Tachi Palace Fights 33. Of course, we are inside the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. Hernandez with the red tape. Gutierrez, the high kick, glancing off the arms there of Hernandez. Gutierrez in with the hard kick, the body, but it's Hernandez that's able to grab hold of him. Double underhooks here for Hernandez, but it's Gutierrez that is able to pummel in, now controlling Hernandez up against the fence.
We're seeing so much intelligent movement. This is great.
I think a lot of that comes back to these fighters being young in their MMA professional careers, but have that amateur background, and that's something that a lot of fighters, a decade ago really didn't get to have. When you came in to fight, you were a pro already, and now you can ease your way into your professional career. See Gutierrez trying to get this takedown, but giving up his head. His corner telling him to posture up out of that, get away from Hernandez, but easier said than done. Hernandez trying to load up, maybe some knees. I thought he was going to try to base out and maybe ragdoll Gutierrez at the floor, but unable to do so.
Attacking the hands is a good idea by Gutierrez. At a certain point, when you have to admit that you're in danger, you have to stop your own attack and then start working on the defense. And, attacking the hands is always a good idea when someone has their hands around them.
He's in deep around that guillotine now, palm to palm. Is Art Hernandez. What does he need to do to finish this if he wants to get a choke?
He needs to step in closer, and then elevate. The further away that he is, then the less leverage that he's going to get. But if he can step in and then lift, that's going to make the angle on the neck a lot more uncomfortable. And the other thing, too, is that he can take his right hand and lifting it, he can use his right hand to pull his left hand even further, and then he wants to get his elbow over the back of Gutierrez, and that's going to really tighten it up by getting his elbow over the back.
We don't see a lot of standing guillotine stop fights, but right now Hernandez still working for it. He loses it. Now Gutierrez trying to make him pay.
It looked like a right thing. I hope it wasn't
know.
a tooth. Did you see that?
I did see it. I don't know if it was a tooth or what, but it's. And we'll see. I'm actually looking at it on the floor. It's definitely something solid, too, and Gutierrez just kicked it.
Hopefully it was a piece of a mouth guard and not someone's tooth. Gutierrez is doing a great job of staying in control, landing some more punches. I like the way that he's just staying up and just handling it.
Close guard here for Hernandez. Some hammer fist by Gutierrez. 2 minutes left to work. Hernandez now moving, getting to his base. Gutierrez trying to pour it on. Hernandez able to get back to his feet. Nicely done for Cedric Gutierrez. Looked like he was in some trouble with that guillotine, but now he's trying to make Hernandez pay.
Those knee strikes are always nice. A bunch of those can wreak some damage on the leg. Make it harder to be explosive and move in for the different takedowns and shots. Take away someone's legs takes away everything.
Hernandez trying to peel the hands. He's able to turn into Gutierrez. Nice left hand there on the break by Gutierrez, followed up by another nice strike. Hernandez trying to come back with some kicks. Gutierrez throws a kick of his own. 65 seconds left here in this first round. High kick for Hernandez blocked. Nice takedown there by Gutierrez. Looks like Hernandez trying to clear that arm, but he loses it. Maybe trying to flirt with a triangle, but it's Gutierrez now still in control. Front headlock position, trying to take the back is Gutierrez.
It's hard against such an experienced wrestler as Hernandez, though, because he kept getting those hands up and stopping the direction from coming around to the back. On the ground game.
30 seconds here. Some nice standing elbows there by Gutierrez.
I really like the smother game that Gutierrez is doing. The short, small punches and the moving around the body and always keeping his weight on Hernandez, how he's making him work to hold him up the whole time.
Again on that neck is Hernandez. He loses it. Final seconds here of the opening round. High guard here by Hernandez. Looks like he's going to run out of time. Solid 5 minutes in the books. We've seen a lot of wrestling here tonight, but it's been very aggressive wrestling, Leslie. I enjoy really all the action that we've seen thus far in the cage.
Me too, especially in this fight.
Hernandez was in control in the first part of that round, really working that guillotine. He wasn't able to secure it, and when Gutierrez got out, he tussled for position, but when he was in control, he was constantly throwing strikes, always thinking about attempting to take the back. I really like the response in the latter part of the round by Isidro Gutierrez.
Yeah, me too. Especially, I said it earlier, but the way that he was keeping his weight on top of Hernandez and being very heavy and then staying so close, and that staying so close meant that he had the different shots from the different places. Oh, it was a tooth?
Well, we don't know yet, but it definitely looked like something fell out. I mean, it's solid. I will say that. It's solid. I don't know if it's still on the floor or not.
It is. Oh, someone stepped on
yeah,
it.
the referee too.
Oh, and it was in a shoe, and it was...
Yeah, I mean, you might want to wash that off if they put it back in later. And again, we don't know for sure or not if it's a tooth, but it still is lying on the mat. Gutierrez, the southpaw. Hernandez standing orthodox. See that kick there by Gutierrez, landed the body. Oh, looks like Hernandez is in a little bit of trouble there. He regroups. Now Gutierrez back to that smothering grappling game. Knee comes up by Hernandez. Hernandez married to the idea that he's going to be able to get that neck. Not able to do so now. Gutierrez working that takedown. He's in on a leg.
I wonder if the neck attacks are a result of him searching for the neck or from a result of Gutierrez putting his neck out there. Because either way, I'm guessing that Hernandez is going to work on guillotines a little bit after this.
Gutierrez still hanging tough with that leg. Nice left hand. And again, back on that neck is Art Hernandez.
So attacking the hands is one way.
Nice little trip takedown there by Gutierrez.
Ripping him down to the ground is a great way to get out of it, too.
TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, cage side here, Lemoore, California. Tachi Palace Fights 33. Isidro Gutierrez in the guard of Art Hernandez.
Isidro Gutierrez is looking really, really good tonight. I'm liking everything that he's doing.
Hernandez trying to stand Gutierrez, thinking about trying to take the back. Likes to punch. Thought he had one hook in, but he does not. Hernandez now is going to try to circle into Gutierrez or get free. Kick to the body there on the break by Gutierrez. Hernandez waving him on. Nice right hand. There's a left by Gutierrez, answered by a right hand from Hernandez. Nice knee to the body. Hernandez now selling out for a takedown. You can get at us on Twitter at TJ DeSantis, at Leslie Smith _GF. Use the hashtag TPF33.
I can't believe this fight is only halfway over. This is awesome.
Gutierrez trying to make it over right now. Was in on a guillotine. Unfortunately for him, unable to maintain it. Now looks like he's going to try to get back to his feet. Bit of a fence grab there by Gutierrez. Aided him back to his feet, but Hernandez trying to suck the legs out. Nicely done by Art Hernandez. 2 minutes remain here in round number 2.
Has Hernandez been on top before? I'm excited to see what he's going to do from on top.
Gutierrez has that guard wide open, trying to kick away from Hernandez. Hernandez again back in on that neck for a brief moment, but now he's on his back. Half butterfly here for Art Hernandez.
Gutierrez is relentless.
Back to close guard here for Isidro Gutierrez. 90 seconds to work. Smack dab in the middle of the TPF cage. This is a small cage. It's a lot of times when we see ground action here, Leslie, it's always up against the fence. You know, when you don't have a lot of room to work, it's rare that we see a takedown and subsequent groundwork in the middle of the cage, and we slowly start to see Gutierrez maybe pushing Hernandez towards the fence, or Hernandez trying to get to the cage and maybe try to wall walk.
I'm a huge fan of the cage. Personally, I love using the wall. Anytime that I get a chance, whether I'm attacking a takedown or defending a takedown, I always want to use the wall. But I know a lot of other people don't, and they really prefer that middle area like you're talking about.
Looks like Hernandez trying to get out the back door, see if he can get the hooks in here on Gutierrez. He's got one. Nice, sweet little move there by Art Hernandez. See if he can get that left hook in. Looks like he's trying to work his rear naked.
He's got his right arm in so deep.
He's unable to get the right grip, though. Gutierrez saving it off, but now nice adjustment here by Art Hernandez. Hard to see from this angle if the forearm is underneath the chin. It looks good. Gutierrez trying to peel the hands away. Final 10 seconds here of the round. Art Hernandez trying to steal it. Gutierrez trying to survive. Wow. Gutierrez aided by the bell. That was very, very close. But a nice way for Art Hernandez to come back, and looks like there's something wrong with looks like they're tending to the forearm of Art Hernandez. I don't know if he necessarily got bit or if the teeth of Gutierrez did some damage on the crossface. It's difficult. They're definitely treating it here. You ever been bit in the gym?
No, I've never been bit. I have not. I've definitely, you know, there have been cross faces on me where my teeth have dug into somebody else. But not like bottom jaw to top
right.
jaw. Just
yeah, I don't think that was the case. I don't think Gutierrez was taking a chomp by any means, but you might want to wash that out later.
Thank goodness for blood testing.
Oh my goodness. All right, some action here. We see that rear naked attempt. Walk us through it.
Yeah, this is probably where that bite, and I can actually see how the hand is straight across. It probably opened up the mouth, and when he was trying to bring his hand down to come across the neck, Oh, yeah. His mouth must have been completely open because I could see for a second his chin underneath.
Yeah, that's not fun for Isidro Gutierrez as well. I mean, all that pressure on the bottom part of your jaw and the teeth. I mean, that can be scary for a fighter to endure.
It can be.
Third and final round here. The southpaw Gutierrez, Art Hernandez pressing forward. Take by Hernandez. Nice response there by Gutierrez, now clinched up against the fence. Nice standing elbow there by Gutierrez. Hernandez able to circle away, back to space. Hernandez went for a takedown, ends up on his back. Some hammer fist here by Isidro Gutierrez. Hernandez wants to try to get back to his feet. Gutierrez not letting him free, settles in half.
So much going on. I mean, Hernandez is on the bottom, and he's punching up from the bottom as he's trying to move. I really like the way Gutierrez holds down the shoulders of Hernandez when he can, isolating his shoulders so that he can't use them to roll one way or the other in order to get up.
You know, obviously the action here tonight indicative of the talent of these young fighters, but also I think it's evidence of the matchmaking that Richard Goodman puts together. I mean, they're always very evenly matched fights, and they're always, you know, made to be entertaining and exciting. And this TPF card thus far delivering what has made this promotion so famous. Hernandez back to his base. Gutierrez got to watch that knee. I don't know if Hernandez was necessarily grounded, but he did throw it to the head as they were standing up. Jason McCoy didn't say anything, must have been good. Gutierrez flirting with throwing some kicking offense here. Left hand gets through. And on another takedown is Isidro Gutierrez. And again, Hernandez back in on that neck.
I noticed that to start off each of the rounds, Gutierrez was throwing kicks, and that, I feel like, was delaying the takedown attempts of Hernandez. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of those kicks, because they were solid.
Nice right hand and a left followed up by Gutierrez. Hernandez eats a hard left hand there by Isidro Gutierrez. Less than 2.5 remain here in this final round. What a fun fight this has been. Now double unders here for Hernandez, going for a takedown. Nice sprawl there by Gutierrez. Back up on the feet.
Gutierrez is tough, but man, Hernandez is still being a threat. He's still making these attacks, these takedowns with good technique.
While the pace is slowed, neither man has really taken a step back.
Yes. They're both right there in the middle, standing on top of the middle.
I think Hernandez a bit more stalking with his pressure here in the final 90 seconds. He's trying to force the issue a bit more, but Gutierrez able to get a takedown. See if he can clear the legs here. Ooh, nice little face mount there by Gutierrez. Got to make sure he doesn't get caught here, though. Hernandez really trying to get this arm. He's got it. It is straightened out. You see Gutierrez trying to get free, trying to pull out. Arm is hyperextended. Art Hernandez in deep on this submission. I don't know if
on the face is going to help him, and then he got his head out. Wow, I thought the fight might have been over right there.
It was very, very close, and now Gutierrez is going to try to get a submission maybe of his own on the back here of Hernandez. Hernandez stands now trying to heal the hands. What a fight. 50 seconds left.
Pretty sure Gutierrez is going to be a little bit more careful inside the guard of Hernandez from this point on, if it comes back again.
Big deep breath there by Gutierrez. Hernandez pressing forward. These guys have definitely done everything they can to leave it all in the cage. Now Gutierrez again on a takedown. 30 seconds left. Hernandez has finished every opponent that he's been in the cage with right now, trying to go for that guillotine. And this time it's a little bit different. He pulls guard, but Gutierrez is able to posture up and staves off any danger for now. Final 10 seconds. What a lightweight fight.
I love the way Hernandez turned it up this round and turned himself into the aggressor.
Knee on the bell, 15 minutes in the books. Both of these gentlemen should hold their heads up high because that was a fight. I would love to see this one ran back at some point, regardless of who the winner is. I mean, this was fun from the word go.
Totally. The skill levels, I think that Gutierrez mentally just had a little bit more fire going for him.
See some of the action here. That arm bar, Leslie, was very close, but Gutierrez able to get out of it.
Yes, and he was smart. It's easy to try to just pull it out, but he did a good job of getting that knee on top of the head. That can change things, and then he was able to pop his head onto the other side of the legs.
And Hernandez was able to pull that submission from out of nowhere. It wasn't like it was a closed guard setup. It was almost a scramble that he was able to isolate that arm. I wonder if he would have been able to finish it if they weren't up against the fence. The fence hindered him. He wasn't able to belly out or do anything like that to try to isolate that arm.
Yes, that's true. I don't know that he would have needed to grab a leg in order to do the belly out thing and then spin. I don't know that. Maybe the cage was preventing it. Yeah, it's possible. Even if it wasn't physically preventing it from whatever angle he would have chosen, mentally it was probably changing things because it feels different. It's hard to go for things that feel different.
Now, I'm with you. I think that the momentum throughout the fight was probably in the corner of Isidro Gutierrez, but Art Hernandez was very game throughout the 15 minutes. And, it only takes one judge it takes a couple judges to see a couple things that we didn't see, and we could be wrong on that decision, but I do believe that it's probably going to end up in the favor of Isidro Gutierrez.
Yes, but by no means a blowout.
No.
Yeah, he was dangerous and threatening. It was back and forth. I'm happy about this fight.
Who's it going to be, Isidro Gutierrez or Art Hernandez? Tyson Johnson has the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for both of these gladiators. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 exciting rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge number 1 scores about 30-27, with judge number 2 and 3 scoring about 29-28 for your winner by way of unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Isidro Gutierrez.
Isidro Gutierrez back in the win column. He hands Art Hernandez the first loss of his pro career, and with both of these fighters fighting here in the Central Valley, I don't know if we've seen the final chapter between these two. That was a fun fight, to say the least.
I hope not. I hope this isn't the final chapter. I would love to read another chapter of this.
Yeah, sign me up. I'm down. We'll see what Richard Goodman will say for both of these gentlemen as they progress and potentially fight once again. Fantastic stuff, and it just shows the depth of talent at 155 pounds here in the Central Valley. And this promotion highlights fighters like Isidro Gutierrez and Art Hernandez, and tonight it belongs to Isidro Gutierrez, but again, I don't think you can take anything away from Art Hernandez, who suffers defeat for the first time in his pro career, but I think the best is yet to come still for both of these gentlemen. Isidro Gutierrez, the warhorse, Art Hernandez. Hernandez tried to work that neck a few times of Isidro Gutierrez, but when Gutierrez was able to get free, he maintained top position, was able to really take it to Hernandez, but Hernandez also came back and worked this rear naked choke. It looked like he was going to potentially get it done, but time was on the side of Isidro Gutierrez, who came back strong in this third round. Was not completely out of danger, though, because Art Hernandez was able to rally back, almost get an arm bar here. Very, very close, but he was able to get free and ultimately get the decision. Isidro Gutierrez gets it done inside the TPF lightweight division. All right, heavyweight action set to kick off our 4-man tournament. It's up next here at Tachi Palace Fights 33.
Up next at TPF 33, it's the first round of our heavyweight tournament as the former football player Muhammad Usman squares off against Van Palacio. While Muhammad Usman has been billed as the brother of the Ultimate Fighter winner Kamaru Usman, it's easy to see that the hype goes far beyond his notable surname. With 2 quick victories in less than 2.5 minutes of work, Usman has the size, speed, and strength unmatched by many of the sport's elite level heavyweights. Tonight, he looks to continue his streak of dominance by taking out the hard-headed veteran in Van Palacio. While Usman may have the physical attributes that has the MMA world buzzing, what he lacks is the experience of his opponents. Fighting for the first time in 2005, Van Palacio stands ready to show that it takes a lot more than athleticism and height to be victorious inside the cage. On the way, it's the motor Muhammad Usman battling Butter Van Palacio. This is Tachi Palace Fights.
Born in Hilo, Hawaii, now living in Hanford, California, Van Palacio has been competing in mixed martial arts for the last 12 years. He is a longtime veteran of the game, fighting all the way back in the WEC days of the Palace here in Lemoore. And he came back because he wanted to show his kids that you can do anything you want to, anything you put your mind to. And when the name Muhammad Usman came across the table for Van Palacio, he didn't shy away. Van knows he's the underdog, but he has a will and determination that has paid dividends for him in his career. A granite chin, someone who likes to really mix it up. But that said, in this fight especially, his chin needs to be something that he has in his back pocket and not something that he relies on. While he is gritty and durable, he can't try to wait out Muhammad Usman by any means, and he said, I know I need to be aggressive in this fight. He plans to take it to Usman.
I'm very excited to see that. When I heard that he was planning to stand with Usman, I was thrilled, because those are the kinds of fights that I really like to watch, is when two fighters are just game and ready to go in the middle of the cage.
Van Palacio, we mentioned how long he's been training. I remember when he came back, it was one of the more interesting fights that you'll see in mixed martial arts. He stood on the outside and traded, and he didn't throw any strikes, but he ended up getting the win because he checked a kick, and his opponent couldn't continue because, like we were talking earlier, when you clash shins, sometimes your night is over, and Van Palacio has a lot of tricks in his game. He's going to need to call upon all of them, though, if he wants to take out Muhammad Usman. Of course, Usman, a famous or notable name here in mixed martial arts. Kamaru Usman won the Ultimate Fighter. Muhammad, the brother of Kamaru, former football player. Muhammad Usman is intriguing for a variety of reasons, but for a long time, people that had the athletic ability of Muhammad Usman never really thought about mixed martial arts. The size, the speed, the strength, the power, that's a football player. But as money has started to come in more and more in mixed martial arts, you start to see these high-level, athletic athletes just think about things a little bit differently. Usman, he did play football, but there's a path to fame, success, fortune in mixed martial arts for Usman, and we'll see if, there aren't many fighters that have to cut down to 265 and are made the way that Usman is. When you weigh in over 265 pounds come fight time, generally you don't move with the speed or have the skill of one Muhammad Usman.
Right, and I remember Muhammad Usman saying that he wanted to move like a 125er. That was his ideal description for his movement.
Most heavyweights would be happy with moving like a 185er, but he wants to move like a flyweight. Muhammad Usman, comes from a boxing and wrestling background, and we saw that in his last fight here at TPF. He wanted to stand and trade, Leslie, but he wasn't able to do that. The opportunity to finish the fight on the floor with a submission presented itself, and he took it. We'll see if we see that stand-up game from the motor Muhammad Usman. Tail of the tape for our heavyweight fight. This is part of our four-man tournament. Van Palacio and Muhammad Usman both stand 6 feet 1 inch tall. Palacio weighed in at 265.2, 262 for the motor. Palacio is 9 years the elder of the 28-year-old Muhammad Usman. To get things started, let's throw it up to Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next Tachi Palace fight will be 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. He went in at 265 pounds. He represents the CVCA and One Kicks Gym fight teams. He has a mixed martial arts gym record of 4 wins and only 2 defeats. He hails from Lemoore, California. Please welcome Van Palacio. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 262 pounds. He represents Rise Combat Sports with an undefeated record of 2 wins and 0 defeats. He hails from Arlington, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Muhammad the Motor Usman. Your referee for this bout will be Mark Lawley.
Heavyweights inside the TPF cage. Mark Lawley getting this assignment. Of course, the winner of this fight will go on to take on the winner of Chris Lewis in Mitchell Sype in February.
Fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight!
Palacio immediately takes the center of the cage.
And threw. He immediately walked in and threw a punch. It's exciting.
Palacio stands southpaw. For Usman, still young in his career, southpaw may be something he's getting a look at in the fight for the first time.
Palacio,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Palacio is doing exactly what he said he was going to do, which is press Usman. He's staying close to them. He's inching in. I like that he's up there in it.
Now Usman going in for a clinch. We'll see if he tries to drag Butter to the floor. Oh, low blow. It looked like Usman saying, I didn't hit him low. But immediately Van Palacio did react like it hit him low. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can get a replay, but Usman looks very upset that Palacio is saying it hit him low. Here's a shot of the replay.
All right, I'll be right back. Hold on a second. You did come up between legs, but it went right here. But it was an accident, so you're good. You're good. Don't worry.
I can see he wasn't going for the sensitive area, but I can see how it could have grazed.
Palacio's got 5 minutes.
Now in a bucket, he's going to puke.
Mark Lawley asking for a bucket because Palacio thinks he might throw up. He's definitely walking towards the Palacio in a lot of pain.
Hold it in or this fight's over.
Mark Lawley saying you got to hold it in or this fight's over. He might want to try to get to the door if he's going to throw up. We've got some more fights here tonight.
Are you going to be able to continue? No, I can't let you puke and then continue.
It's interesting. Mark Lawley's saying, I can't let you throw up and continue.
I don't understand why. I've never seen that rule. I mean, I've seen people in action eat a burrito, get hit, and then puke. That's no good. I don't think that should happen. But fighters puke in between rounds all the time. And this is his 5-minute resting period time.
From my experience calling fights, the only person that I recall throwing up is Tanya Evinger. She did that always post-fight. But, I mean, I remember fighters, I'm with you, Leslie, fighters have thrown up in the corner and have continued to fight.
I mean, that's what the bucket's for. They bring it over, you do a little swallow.
I think it's for spitting. I don't know about throwing up. Dual purpose, the bucket.
Yes, fair enough, dual purpose.
We got a garbage bag. We'll see if Palacio is able to get things under control here. I guess he's not going to throw up. A sign of sportsmanship there by Palacio. And here we go. In on the takedown is Usman. And we'll see Palacio try to get back to his guard. Usman wise to it, now stepping over the head. He finished his last fight with the Kimura. Looks like he's maybe thinking about that on the left arm here of Palacio, but now landing some nice elbows. Lawley telling Palacio he needs to move. Vicious elbows here.
Yeah, if I were Palacio, knowing the history of Usman's finishes, I would probably keep that arm a lot more protected than it is right now. The right arm, I would search for an underhook, or else I would turn to a side and even try to get my hands together. Maybe even in this situation, I would give my back because I don't know how Usman goes on the back. But at this point, I probably have a hunch that he has some heavy hands from on top.
That is interesting. Some fighters don't like to take the back and put their hooks in because sometimes they can get bucked off. Usman's still very, new in his MMA career, but he's trying to strike his way to a ground and pound victory. Palacio needs to move. Mark Lawley warning him. Palacio, you talk about his chin. He's very confident in it, but you can't eat shot after shot here and expect the referee to allow you to work.
Right. Well, what it comes down to is you have to intelligently defend yourself.
Right.
And
Kimura upcoming here by Usman. He's stepped over the head in the right position for it, now trying to loosen up.
those are right on the jaw. Directly on the jaw.
Now we see Usman make the adjustment. Lawley telling him to watch the back of the head. He said that several times here. More shots to the side of the head now. Usman wisely picking the shots. That's it. That's a wrap.
Stand up. Stand up. Time.
Looks like...
Come here.
Okay, we're going to get...
Watch the back of the head. Multiple strikes to the back of the head. All right? Watch the back of the head.
Well,
Lawley chastising him. I didn't see any shots to the back of the head in that last exchange.
I was watching very closely because he's already talking about it. But
hold on.
The rule that I've always heard is as long as you touch the ear with your glove, then you're safe. And it didn't look like he was striking directly at
strikes to the back of the head. I've warned you multiple times.
Taking a point. Maybe we can see the replay here in a moment. I don't necessarily agree with it. I understand that he was warning him multiple times, but I didn't see a blatant shot to the back of the head there that warranted a point being deducted. But nevertheless, we're underway. Usman again on a takedown. Big scoop and slam. The motor going to work here. Inside control here on Palacio. Now, this is one thing that you got to keep in mind for Muhammad Usman. If he is going to strike in that position again, he needs to doubly make sure he doesn't hit the back of the head, because next time it might not be a point, it could be a DQ.
Totally. And it also is an indicator of how the ref is going to be. Once you find out a ref is going to act in a certain way, then you want to adjust your game, because losing a fight because of a ref would make anybody really unhappy.
Right hand by Usman now. Picking your shots obviously wisely. Palacio still game. 90 seconds remain here in this first round. Very durable is Van Palacio, but he's got to do something other than just sort of wait out the storm. He needs to move.
Let's go. Let's work.
Some left shots to the body here. Lawley's telling him he needs to work. I'd be surprised if he would stop it due to body strikes, but you know, this is something that Usman really hasn't experienced yet in his career, and that's raining down punishment and not really getting any closer to a stoppage. Van is a lot more durable than his other opponents thus far.
And that's a bad dream that every fighter has had, which is that you throw everything that you have at your opponent, and it's nothing. It doesn't even make a difference to it. And then you just feel your energy bar going down as there's nothing changes.
Come on, Vance, you got to improve your position.
It can be mentally challenging.
35 seconds remain here in round number one. Muhammad Usman has lost a point in this round and fight thus far, but now he's trying to make sure that he puts a staple on this round. Final seconds here in round number one. Van Palacio eating a lot of strikes here from Muhammad Usman. That's it. It is done. Muhammad the Motor Usman. Van Palacio very upset, saying that he was fine. But again, Van Palacio's fine is a lot of other people's save me. I mean, he's complaining, and maybe he was fine, maybe he was composed, but the bottom line is you can't eat 15 unanswered shots and expect the referee to continue.
No, and even if you feel like you can walk away from a fight unhurt, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won the fight. And he's not saying that he won the fight, but in order to stay in, yeah, you do have to do a little bit. You got to fight back.
A weird round of action. Muhammad Usman lost a point, deducted.
This is where he got called for the point, was from this stuff. So those are on the side, and those are going. I didn't see a single one of those yet. That
was the side, yeah. I mean, being a referee is a very difficult job, but Mark Lawley's the man that makes the decisions, and his decision here was to save Van Palacio, and that is a wrap. Muhammad the Motor Usman picks up the third win of his professional career, and he is on his way to the finals where he will meet the winner of Mitchell Seif and Chris Lewis. That fight to take place later on tonight. All right, to make this one official, here's Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 minutes, 52 seconds into round number 1, your winner by way of TKO and the first winner of the Tachi Palace Fights Heavyweight Tournament, Mohammed the Motor Usman.
The Motor, Mohammed Usman, continues to make a name for himself here at Tachi Palace Fights. He's moving on to the tournaments of the heavyweights here coming up in February. We'll see him back.
Hey, I'm standing here with your winner, Mohammed Usman. Congratulations on that win. How does it feel to be the first heavyweight to move on in this tournament?
It feels good, and all glory to God.
Was it surprising to you when you were throwing punch after punch, blow after blow, and not getting a reaction from Palacio?
No, it wasn't. I knew he was a tough guy, and I had to do a lot to put him away.
Nice. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, and I just want to thank all my coaches, my brother, all my fans back home, all my coaches back home, University of Arizona, everybody that's helped me, Rise Combat Sports, Reds Boxing, War Room, Kickboxing, everybody that's helped me get to this point. Thank you guys, and back to work.
Yeah, everybody give it up for Mohammed Usman.
Mohammed Usman getting it done tonight inside the TPF cage. He moves his record to 3-0, and of course we'll see him back here in February for the finale of the heavyweight tournament. That next round of the tournament coming up a little bit later on this evening when Chris Lewis takes on Mitchell Seif. Don't forget our main event, Rolando Velasco returns, trying to recapture bantamweight gold when he takes on Rodrigo Lima. All right, Leslie Smith back here cage side in Lemoore. Looking at Mohammed Usman, he is going to have a lot of opportunities going forward in his MMA career. Obviously, we talk about his brother, Kamaru Usman, inside the Ultimate Fighting Championship. But men like Mohammed Usman don't exist. A fighter that is 265 pounds, that is cutting weight to make the heavyweight limit, and is as agile, as strong, and as skilled as Mohammed Usman. You think about fighters like him, you think about guys like Brock Lesnar, and Brock was an anomaly in mixed martial arts. Usman going to have a lot of opportunities, but the thing that I like about Usman thus far, Leslie, is the fact that he is taking it slow. He's not out there signing a huge exclusive contract with one of the big shows. He's getting what he needs, most importantly, which is experience, and he got more experience tonight here.
Absolutely. You got a lot of experience. Experience going against people who don't immediately crumble against what he's throwing at him. And what you're saying about seeing athletes like him, I think that is going to change a whole lot. That we're going to see more, well, I don't know about like him, but highly athletic, large guys. As MMA grows bigger and bigger, the more athletic people are being more drawn to it. Whereas before, like you pointed out, they were drawn to the football or mainly the football. That's pretty much the main thing. That,
I mean, when you're built like Mohammed Usman, you're on a defensive line somewhere generally, but maybe now you're in the mixed martial arts cage. We've seen a lot of action here in Lemoore, and we're not done yet. Don't forget, we have the second round of our heavyweight tournament later tonight, as well as that Bantamweight Championship. Quick note about the Bantamweight Championship. Rolando Velasco made weight. His opponent, Rodrigo Lima, did not make weight. So we still have a title fight. However, only one party can win. That party is Rolando Velasco. If Lima does win the fight, he will not win the title, and unfortunately for him, he failed to make weight, so he can't be the champ.
No, but he still has to fight 5 rounds.
He does. 5 5-minute rounds scheduled in our bantamweight main event coming up later tonight. If you missed any of the action, man, you're going to have to go back and watch it. This has been another fight card here in Lemoore that has continued to deliver everything and anything you could want in a mixed martial arts card. Let's take a look at some of the action earlier tonight. We started with a catchweight contest when we saw Lamar Reed, the Lion King, taking on Baby Ray Cervera, and this was really one-way traffic from beginning to end. 30-26, 30-25, and 30-27 for Lamar Reed, who got top position repeatedly and was smothering with everything that he did. Ray Cervera, a man that has only been finished one time in his career, sees the final bell, but it is Lamar Reed that walks away with the victory. Then it was Jose Avalos and Devin Chavez doing work. It only lasted 5 minutes, and Avalos making his pro debut. He made it memorable. Beautiful takedowns, always passing, always moving, always working, and he did get the stoppage, but not in traditional fashion. Devin Chavez not able to answer the bell for round number 2. And tonight belongs to Jose Avalos. Then it was one of the more interesting fights for a variety of reasons between Fahad Muhammad and Drake Bowen. It goes the distance. Muhammad spoke with his actions, his hands, his feet, but also with his mouth, constantly talking and I think demoralizing with Drake Bowen with what he was saying. Bowen was far from out of it, though. Even though he was in trouble there, he did answer back. Muhammad was encouraging him to do so, but Bowen was able to hang tough, but ultimately not able to get the decision. Farhad Muhammad gets it done via unanimous decision. Isidro Gutierrez and Art Hernandez did work. It was Gutierrez that was smothering with his grappling offense. It almost looked like Hernandez lost a tooth there. He did lose the fight, though, but he was game throughout. But Isidro Gutierrez able to get takedown after takedown. Had to fend off this armbar, but it's Isidro Gutierrez getting the nod via decision. And then Muhammad Usman and Van Palacio vied for a position in the final of our heavyweight tournament coming up in February. It was an odd fight. Usman caught Palacio low. Palacio was able to recover over the course of 5 minutes. Then Usman went back to work, and he did what he has done thus far, taking men down and punishing them. He lost a point, but it didn't matter. Muhammad Usman able to pound out Van Palacio and punch his ticket to the heavyweight finale. All right, more action headed your way. You're watching Tachi Palace Fights 33, live from Lemoore on Sherdog.com.
Middleweights make their way to the cage as Evan Solario returns to TPF to welcome the newcomer, Garrett Marks. Evan Solario returns to Tachi Palace Fights for the first time since May of 2016. Despite having multiple bouts fall through, Solario has finally made it to Fight Night, where he looks to shine, making up for lost time. Standing in his way will be the newcomer, Garrett Marks. With an amateur background in MMA dating back to 2013, Marks looks to notch his first victory as a professional in his promotional debut. Coming up next, it's Evan Pitbull Solario, squaring off with Garrett White Boy Marks.
Garrett Marks taking this fight with Evan Solario on just a week's notice, and that's the story when it comes to mixed martial arts, Leslie. Sometimes opportunity knocks, and it seems to be more often than not better for a fighter to say yes if they're willing and able, and Garrett Marks looks to make his TPF debut on short notice and make it a memorable one.
It can be a great way to get publicity, get fights, get where you want to be, is by just being ready all the time. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and you can take fights like this.
Yeah, this fight is a catchweight affair. I think that more often than not, these gentlemen will be fighting at 170 pounds, but technically a catchweight at 181. Fighting out of Clovis, California is Garrett White Boy Marks. He's been training for a while. Said he just got into fighting because he loved it, was watching fighting and said, I'm going to try my hand at, getting in the cage. And he wants to really make a statement here. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And for Garrett Marks, he wants to make that first impression here at the Tachi Palace Fights one to remember.
This is definitely a crowd worth impressing. They have responded so well and been so exciting. This would be a great time to make that mark.
I mean, we talk about the history of mixed martial arts here in Lemoore. It dates all the way back to the WEC. Bellator has been here most recently, Invicta Fighting Championships. And to get a win in mixed martial arts, whenever you get a win, it's one that you're proud of and one to remember. But getting a win here, really on hollow ground when it comes to mixed martial arts, is important. And Garrett Marks looks to get that done here tonight. He takes on Evan Solario, who is a fighter that has fought here plenty of times. But don't get it twisted. Garrett Marks has an amateur background. And again, I don't think that we can stress how important it is for these fighters to get, experience in the cage. in amateur rules before you get in there and do it for real as a pro, because you only get one chance to put together a sterling pro record. Amateur fights, there's a little bit room for error and learning on the job there than as a professional.
There is. I can tell you, I don't remember any of my amateur fights being in the actual fight because I just saw red. I had 3 amateur fights, and I'm glad that I did, because then by the time I was able to go pro, I was able to slow things down a little bit and then make smarter decisions.
Do you still see red?
I see red around the edges, though. I can calm it down a little bit on the inside.
Evan Solario, he has a background in amateur mixed martial arts as well. He was actually able to capture an amateur title, and he wants to eventually rise the ranks and become a TPF champion. Fighting here at Tachi, I've talked about it. I mean, I'm not going to say that this is the big time, this is the UFC, but the lights do burn bright here. And Solario has the advantage of fighting here more than Marks has. Marks has never fought here before, but fighting in the palace, staying in the hotel, the photo shoots, the video shoot, it does adequately prepare you for some of the sport's biggest lights, because when you do make it to the big show, when you are fighting on television in front of an international audience, there's a lot more that goes to that than just preparing for the fight and showing up and weighing in. Evan Solario is used to that pressure that comes, the added pressure fighting here in the morning.
You're right, and a lot of that too is being able to control oneself. There's different times where you can be excited, like you want to be excited when you're doing the video stuff for the broadcast, but you want to stay calm pretty much all the rest of the time as you're walking around the other fighters. Sometimes I can get your heart racing, sometimes it's very tempting to get pumped up and then use up your energy, but that's a result of being able to be on a show like this and be in the lights and do all the preparation and have a whole team, all the people who are part of Tachi Palace, and know that the culmination of it all is you putting on a performance can put some pressure on you, and being able to respond to that well is definitely a skill. Evan
Solario represents One Kicks Gym and Batcave Boxing. His amateur career dates back to 2010. So while he only has 4 fights as a professional, he's not young in his MMA career. He's been doing this for nearly 8 years, and tonight he looks to push his professional record above 500 when he tries to get it done against Garrett Marks. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this catchweight contest. Evan Pitbull Solario, 1 inch taller than the white boy, Garrett Marks. Marks weighed in at 181 pounds, Solario 179.6. Evan is 5 years the elder of Garrett Marks. For our official introductions as we get ready for this catchweight contest, here is Tyson Johnson.
And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 181 pounds. He represents Halo BJJ, hailing out of Fresno, California. Please welcome Garrett, the White Boy Marks. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 180 pounds. He has a mixed martial arts record of 2 wins and 2 defeats. He hails from Fresno, California. Please welcome Evan Pitbull Solario. Your referee for this bout will be Josh Rosenthal.
One of the best in the business, Josh Rosenthal, getting this assignment. Catchweight contest, Evan Pitbull Solario in the black, Garrett Marks in the blue.
Gentlemen, you ready? You ready? Fight!
TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, Bingo Hall, Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino, TPF 33. Marks the southpaw, making his TPF debut here tonight against Evan Pitbull Solario. See them touching the lead hands, trying to find that range. Evan Solario has found it, now he's throwing. Garrett Marks trying to answer. What a fight! Garrett Marks it is done! Evan Solario makes short work of Garrett Marks.
Evan Solario went from 0 to 1,000 and did not stop. That was awesome.
Pedal to the metal, yields a victory quickly. I don't know if that one went 30 seconds. Garrett Marks visibly upset with himself. That's what happens when you stand there and eat punches from Evan Solario. Solario consoling him. Leslie, walk us through this action.
Well, they're both feeling themselves out. You can see how Solario is keeping his right hand right next to his face. Marks' his left hand is kind of moving. They both have their controlling their power hands a little bit differently, and then Solario just starts finding a home. He gets in, and then he gets more and more dialed in. I love the way that he's mixing the hooks and the straights and then the uppercuts. It seemed like those uppercuts were a major part of the very end of Marks' fighting chance.
You see Garrett Marks very upset with himself. He wasn't completely out of it, but he really was for all intents and purposes. Evan Solario did not miss in those punches, no matter how hard you are, no matter how tough you are. When you get hit on the button like that, your body will fail you. And Evan Solario made the body of Garrett Marks fail him. And my goodness, that was a highlight reel performance for the Pitbull Evan Solario.
He looks very happy inside of there. Very happy. Man, that's a highlight reel for anybody.
Fast hands on display by Evan Solario. And, for Garrett Marks, he's going to come back and, attempt to do better than that. Still young in his career, but Evan Solario showing why he is a talent to be feared here at Tachi Palace Fights. To make it official and get the time of the stoppage, here's Tyson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 28 seconds into round number 1, your winner by way of TKO, Evan Pitbull Solario.
28 seconds. That's all it took for Evan Solario to get back in the TPF cage in a big, big way.
I would love to know how many punches he threw within those 28 seconds and what the average would have been on that.
Yeah, slow it down, though, because if you watch it real time, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with the accuracy and the punch landed. Evan Solario showing a lot of promise as he moves forward inside the TPF cage. It's been a while since he fought. He'd been scheduled to fight 2 times last year, but his opponents had fallen out. And to get the win in the fashion that he did here, we'll see if he can get another fight regionally before 2018, but I can't wait to see this young man back inside the TPF cage next year.
Yeah, me too. I see on my notes that during his amateur time he was a champ, so it might have been a little bit tough for him mentally to be dealing with this 500 record.
Right.
And so it's got to feel good to be getting right back to where he must feel he should be, which is with a winning record.
Yeah, no better way to get back in the above 500 column than with a performance like that, a statement performance by Evan Pitbull Solario. I mean, 28 seconds, that is a statement to say the least. He gets it done, and let's take a look at it. Leslie, just solid stuff by the Pitbull.
One more time. This is so exciting to watch. I love the way he switches it up. He's really not getting set on any specific pattern. He's switching up the angles that he's coming at him from. Now that right hand, he switched from the uppercut to the overhands each time, and it's just beautiful.
You see the approach there by Garrett Marks. He was winging punches as well, but the difference between Marks and Solario was constantly focused on where the head of Marks was, and Marks was kind of lowering his head and just throwing punches. Solario was constantly making adjustments where his opponent was just sort of swinging where he thought Evan was going to be.
Exactly, and that's the difference between seeing red and not.
Oh, we're back to seeing red. We've come full circle. All right, let's close the circle of the heavyweight tournament. Our final round of the first round as Chris Lewis takes on Mitchell Sipe here in Lemoore.
Our heavyweight tournament continues in Lemoore as undefeated fighters Chris Lewis and Mitchell Sipe square off. Entering the third fight of his professional career, Chris Lewis finds himself back where his amateur career started in July of 2015. It was then he handed Mitchell Sipe the only loss of his amateur run. Tonight, he looks to make it feel like deja vu all over again by defeating a familiar foe. For Mitchell Sipe, redemption is just part of the reward of a potential victory. If Sipe is able to even the score with Lewis, he will punch his ticket to the tournament final next February. Straight ahead, it's the rematch as Chris Lewis battles Mitchell Sipe.
Fighting out of Bakersfield, California, Mitchell Sipe is undefeated as a professional, although he did have that one loss as an amateur to Chris Lewis. Now, both men have found success in the professional ranks. They meet up here tonight. Chris Lewis would love to spoil that undefeated record of Mitchell Sipe once again. But for Mitchell Sipe, Leslie, what do you think is going through his head having that loss to Lewis in his amateur career? Is that any sort of edge coming into this fight for Lewis, or do you think Mitchell Sipe has moved beyond that to where it's not going to play a factor?
I've always thought that the person who lost the first time, they're the ones who have the blueprint for what not to do for the next fight.
True.
They're the ones who are going to have to go home and change in. I think I believe that it's a lot easier to make changes when you have a clear path for making those changes. And often the winner, I'm not saying this is necessarily what's going to happen for Chris Lewis because a lot of time has passed and I'm pretty sure that they've both done a lot of improving, but often the winner will not change anything about their game because why would they? They just won. And that's why I personally give the advantage in most rematches to the person that lost the first time.
You know, another thing to think about Mitchell Sipe as well is, you know, he, like you said, can game plan differently, but also, too, at the same time, I think both of these guys are completely different from when they fought last time. I mean, it was a couple years ago. They were amateurs. Now, as professionals, I mean, when you're young in your MMA career, 3 months can feel like a year for how your skills can progress. So when you literally have years between meetings, I mean, as far as professionals and fighters are concerned, you got to believe that they have plenty more skills than they had the first time they met.
Totally, especially going to different places. I know I used to train with Raquel Pennington. We were training partners when we first started, and then we both went our separate ways, had our different coaches, and when we fought, it was probably pretty similar to how these guys are feeling right now, minus the whole teammate thing, but wondering, have I made the right decisions? Have I been progressing the way that I wanted to progress? Have I made the progress that I wanted to make? And most specifically, have I made more progress than he has?
Mitchell Sipe, we've seen him inside the TPF cage before, as well as Chris Lewis. And when you look at the striking differences between these two, Sipe more of a dynamic fighter when it comes to mixing in knees and kicks. We'll see if he tries to employ that against the power puncher in Chris Lewis. Chris Lewis making the walk to the TPF cage. He will try to punch his ticket to take on Muhammad Usman. He had already faced Van Palacio in May of this year, and that was a fight where Palacio was trying to weather the storm, but Chris Lewis, he did not at all run out of steam, and he hits very, very hard, and he's going to try to do that here tonight. When you fight someone like Van Palacio, like we just saw with Muhammad Usman, it can be demoralizing when you keep throwing strikes and your opponent just walks right through it. But that night, Van Palacio was not able to walk through Chris Lewis's offense, and I think that's a testament to his power.
Definitely. Big testament to one power to be able to stop a person like Van Palacio, who we just watched is not very easily stopped.
Looking at Lewis, I mentioned his power punching ability. He's more of a straight boxer compared to Mitchell Sipe. So when you look at what Chris Lewis does, how does he sit down in his punches and maintain that same sort of power we saw against Van Palacio when you look at Mitchell Sipe, who may mix things in, try to get knees, try to get a clinch? It's more straight boxing, fighting Muay Thai here. Is it? Will Lewis have to make any adjustments fighting a more Muay Thai specialist?
It'll be interesting to see how he deals with kicks. You did say that Sipe likes to do a lot of kicks, and that can be the undoing of a lot of boxers, is the kicking. But there's also boxers who can neutralize the kicks because they get in, they get the angle, and they can land with their hands by being inside faster than a person would be able to land a kick. So maybe that's what we're going to see.
This is the second fight of our four-man heavyweight tournament. It is Chris Lewis and Mitchell Sipe. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this heavyweight contest. The law, Chris Lewis stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, as does Mitchell Sipe. Lewis a bit heavier, 266 to Sipe's 242. Lewis 8 years the elder of Mitchell Sipe. The records are even 2-0 for these heavyweights. For our official introductions, here's Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next Tachi Palace fight will be 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. He weighed at 243 pounds. He represents World Crown Sports with a mixed martial arts record of 2 wins and 0 defeats. He hails from Oxnard, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mitchell Sipe. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 265 pounds. He represents Team Buhawe with an undefeated record of 3 wins and 0 defeats. He hails from Fresno, California. Please welcome Chris "The Lewis." Your referee for this tournament fight is Mark Lawley.
Mark Lawley back in there overseeing this heavyweight contest. It is the Law, Chris Lewis, and Mitchell Sipe.
Fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Fight!
Touch of gloves, we are underway. Sipe in the black, Lewis in the whites. Big overhand right there for Mitchell Sipe. Now in on a takedown is Lewis. I thought we were going to see a striking affair, but immediately Lewis taking this fight to the floor. Close guard here for Sipe.
Sipe has his arm around Lewis's leg, but Lewis's neck is rather large, and I don't think that it goes all the way around and underneath the chin.
Lewis able to get free. Now he stacks, trying to pass the guard. A triangle attempt here for Sipe. Content not to go for it thus far. Maybe he's going to try to readjust now. Lewis keeping the pressure on, stacking. Now he goes to a knee. Does he need to try to clear that left arm back into the guard here, upside?
Well, what Chris Lewis would like to do, if I was Chris Lewis, I would take my right hand and I would hold on to Sipe's left leg, and then I would like shuck him over to the side because his legs are not yet locked. And so if I can drag his leg over to the side, that'll open it up for me. It's either that or else posturing up. Posturing up is going to make it so that he can't keep him down and continue to make that area of his neck and his shoulder smaller and smaller.
Lewis able to get free of that position. Was never really in the submission. Sipe was taking his time, but now he's lost it. The guard is open of Sipe. We'll see if Lewis tries to pass. TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, here inside the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino, TPF 33. Get at us on Twitter at TJ DeSantis, at Leslie Smith _GF, hashtag TPF 33.
It looks like Lewis isn't able to posture up because of Sipe's hand, but I don't think that's what's actually stopping him because the hand isn't on the back of it. It doesn't look like it would be able to hold him. It looks like he should be able to posture up, making it more a decision than unable to.
Yeah, he seems comfortable here. He does need to work. We've seen Mark Lawley warn these guys all night long. Hasn't really warned them for stalling out here, but we haven't really seen a lot of offense. Now close guard here for Mitchell Sipe. Halfway point, pass it here in round number 1. We'll see if Sipe sort of turns up the heat here because, I mean, he's been on his back here throughout most of this round, and while Lewis hasn't done much, he's got to be ahead in the scorecards with 2 minutes left.
I don't see Sipe looking to turn anything up. The way that he's holding his hands, he's holding Lewis down close to him so Lewis can't posture up. That's a classic tactic to get the ref to stand you back up.
Right.
And kind of seems like that's what's going to happen because Lewis isn't able to mount any kind of offense from this position while Sipe is holding on to him so closely.
At this point, I think I would step in there if I was the referee and stand them up. Not a lot of action here. Lawley has been aggressive in trying to force the action of the fighters earlier tonight, but being a bit more conservative with this approach here with 90 seconds left in round number 1.
Watch the back of the head. Watch the back of the head.
More strikes to the back of the head. We saw that earlier tonight.
These are different, though. These are from the person on the bottom striking the back of the head of the person on top. So they don't have as much power to damage the person, although they are just as illegal.
Again, not a lot of action here. A minute left. Lawley getting closer.
It's time for Chris Lewis to do something.
He stands. Going to watch that up kick by Sipe. Sipe able to get up. See the knees there of Sipe. 40 seconds remain around number one.
Let go of the shorts. Let go of the shorts.
Lewis might be on the run a little bit. I don't know if he got rocked or if he's tired. Lewis covering up, frantic for this takedown now. He doesn't want anything from Mitchell Sipe. There's a right hand. I think Lewis is pretty tired here, Leslie.
He must be, because he's playing with his mouth guard, and that's like a subconscious thing that people do. That it's like women when they play with their hair. It kind of reveals your mind isn't maybe 100% there.
5 minutes in the books. Chris Lewis, Mitchell Sipe trying to secure a spot to take on Muhammad Usman in February. Not a lot to talk about there. Lewis was able to control the action. Got to believe that maybe the judges are going to side with him just on positional control and positional dominance.
Yes, that is the way that I would go, but he didn't do any damage.
Wasn't much.
Being in there. In fact, he might have taken more damage once he was on the top.
Big takedown here for Lewis. But again, this was pretty much how the fight played out. He did posture, he did stack, but like you said, I think Mitchell Sipe probably landed the harder shots.
Yeah, that up kick, it kind of equaled the two shots that he took standing up when they were down. It was all Sipe who was making the attack.
I think you could make a logical argument that Mitchell Sipe was the more effective fighter in the round, but we'll see what the judges say should we go that far. Still 10 minutes to go before the judges have any say in this one. You see Lewis still very tired, breathing in the corner, where Mitchell Sipe seems to be the fresher. We'll see if he turns up the aggression at the beginning of round number 2.
Right.
Tachi gloves underway. Big hard right hand. Lewis trying to initiate a clinch, unable to do so. I like the controlled aggression here of Mitchell Sipe.
Ooh, there's that shit again.
Sipe knows he's fresher, but he doesn't want to double down and get taken down in any of these exchanges. Nice kick to the body, right hand over the top. Now on the back is Mitchell Sipe. Hard right hand. Lawley telling him to watch the back of the head. Lewis covering up. Now he back to his feet. See if Sipe gets another takedown and lets him get free. Lewis needs to change something. I don't like the way his posture is here.
No, Lewis needs to do attacking, I feel like. He's really just staying back at the end of the punches and letting Sipe be the one who pushes him. And maybe he's resting a little bit, but that's not the time to rest.
Mitchell Sipe now sprawled out. Lewis stands, got to watch his head. Sipe decides to disengage. I mentioned Lewis owns the victory as an amateur over Sipe.
I believe that victory was gained when Sipe shot in on Lewis, and Lewis got a guillotine and was able to finish him from there in their amateur days. But Sipe is not shooting him for a takedown and giving Lewis a neck. This is probably a different fight than Lewis might have expected.
Lewis in some trouble. Sipe loading up on the right hand. Mixing in the kicks is Mitchell Sipe. Now back in the clinch. 3 minutes remaining round number 2. Lewis able to control the posture of Mitchell Sipe up against the cage. Lawley warning about grabbing the shorts. You cannot grab the shorts of your opponent. Underhook here enjoyed by Chris Lewis. He's also got wrist control on that right arm. He loses it. 2.5 minutes left in this round.
Even if Sipe is feeling like he's doing well, he shouldn't be hanging out on the cage. That's never a good idea.
I think the pace of Mitchell Sipe has slowed quite a bit over the last minute and a half of this fight.
But the time to rest when someone gets tired is not while you're clenched up or touching the other person. And granted, it's hard to do in this cage because it's not full size, but this is the time. He needs to be sidestepping. He needs to be circling his opponent or doing something like that. This is the time to rest.
Sipe with a nice straight right hand to the body. Now comes high to the head. Lewis in trouble trying to work the single leg takedown here. Scramble of position here, back on the feet. Sipe pressuring Lewis into the fence.
I feel like he could really easily deal with the hand that Lewis had on his head, but all he needs to do is grab the arm and then chuck it to the side and then mount his own offense. But they're back in the center of the cage.
Sipe really mixing up the strikes, going to the body and the head. Lewis flat-footed, backing straight up. Another right hand there by Sipe. See both of these guys disengage. More offense here from Sipe, but Sipe breathing heavy.
They're both doing the mouth guard thing.
Nice straight left there. Now Lewis attempts a takedown. Pancaked on the sprawl. Sipe allowing Lewis to get back to his feet. We'll see if he has some knees.
I know that's what you were excited about seeing from him, were his knees.
I think at this point, though, Mitchell Sipe a little bit more exhausted than he'd like to be with 30 seconds remaining here in the second round.
And Lewis, the way he was putting his head on him, that's making Sipe hold him up even more. He's just like being like dead weight on top of him. He's not even defending a takedown because he doesn't need to. He's just making Sipe hold him up.
Lewis able to circle off the fence, back in space, 10 seconds remaining in the second round. Nice right hand on the bell. Maybe one a little bit after the bell. I don't think that was on purpose, though, by Mitchell Sipe. 10 minutes in the books. I think that round was a bit more for Mitchell Sipe, but
it was about as different from the first round as you could possibly get. They were on the ground basically the whole time for the first round, and this one, it was all standing up, all exchanging. Mostly.
Walk us through some of this action, Leslie, of our second round.
So this was an entry of Sipe's that I really liked. He had that low kick, and then he came back with the right. Low kick on one side, the right on the other side. I thought that Lewis might have been done right there, but he popped right back up. They continued the action.
Yeah, they're both exhausted.
Nice overhand rights from Sipe, but Lewis was still, I mean, these guys are both dangerous at any point in time.
And these guys are both exhausted. The doctor actually walked over to referee Mark Lawley and said these guys are exhausted.
Let's go out. He starts shooting his fucking small shit. Bring him down.
Seconds out, the corner of Sipe taking their time, allowing their fighter to get a couple extra breaths. Some tactics there by the corner of Sipe, leaving a towel, taking their sweet time.
Buddy, ready?
I think Lewis probably appreciative of the extra time as well.
Yeah.
Third and final round. Chris Lewis, Mitchell Sipe. Left hand. Lewis launches a right. Spin kick there by Mitchell Sipe, but not what he would have had on it had it come in the first round. Oh, beautiful uppercut. Chris Lewis is in trouble. Mitchell Sipe trying to finish it. Beautiful right hand underneath the arm comes from Mitchell Sipe. Bunching up the left hands. Mitchell Sipe waving him on.
So this is a great time to use a tactic. It's considered light, heavy. You want to use your light punches and just only think about touching the other person. You have to consciously make the decision to not put power into your punches. Oh!
Another left hand, Mitchell Sipe trying to make a count. Lewis covering up. Beautiful knee there by Mitchell Sipe. Lewis eats another and another. Mitchell Sipe trying to punch his ticket to the finals. Beautiful right hand. Mark Lawley letting Lewis work. It is done. Mitchell Sipe moves on to the finals of the heavyweight tournament.
It was beautiful.
That is the Muay Thai that I expected from Mitchell Sipe, and when he got it going, he made it count.
Man, he did such a good job of using his power at the end. He was setting things up, and then when it was time, he sent them really hard.
Nicely done by Mitchell Sipe. He was exhausted, but when he knew the end was near, he gave it everything he had, and he gets redemption. Mitchell Sipe hands Chris Lewis the first loss of his professional career. See Lewis a bloody mess. Knee after knee up against the fence. That was a performance he should be proud of. Mitchell Sipe can be facing Muhammad Usman coming up in February.
He caught a lot of birds with this stone. He was able to even the score with Chris Lewis, advance himself in this tournament, and that's just got to feel good to get a win like that.
I'm sure Muhammad Usman was watching this. Here's the end. Walk us through.
Well, after he landed that uppercut, I feel like it changed things, and then he came at him non-stop, relentless with these punches. So smart with those knees. He got him to bend over with those punches, and then he did the knee. I think there was 3 of them that landed before finally Chris Lewis had to go down to the ground.
Mitchell Sipe victorious. He gets the stoppage, and he gets the fight with Muhammad Usman coming up in February in our tournament final. A win for Mitchell Sipe that he can definitely be proud of. All right, to make it official and get the time of the stoppage, here's Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 13 seconds into round number 3, your winner by way of knockout, Mitchell Sipe.
Mitchell Sipe getting it done. 3rd round stoppage here as he moves on to the tournament finale coming up in February of 2018. He'll take on Muhammad Usman. He moves his mixed martial arts pro record to 3-0 and redeems his loss that he suffered as an amateur to Chris Lewis. Mitchell Sipe making it work for him tonight here inside the TPF cage. He'll speak with our Leslie Smith.
I'm standing here with our winner, Mitchell Sipe. Congratulations on that. How does it feel to even the score after all these years?
It felt good. Really good. Just, I got here from just repetitive work, I got a hard work ethic. I got the great trainers behind my back. I practice everything, thousands and thousands of times all the time. I do nothing but train. And one thing again, it's just a work ethic, you know what I mean? I got good people behind my back. Shout out to World Crown Boxing. Shout out to Oxnard. Shout out to Bakersfield. Yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm sure that Muhammad Usman is watching right now. Is there anything that you would like to say to him?
No. Work on your stand-up, brother.
All right. You thanked a lot of people. Is there any last person that you would like to thank?
Jesus Christ.
All right. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for your winner. Oh, yeah, we're going to see a stare down.
Getting it done. And there's the man he will meet, Muhammad Usman. Give me a time machine. I want to get to February right now. Oh, my goodness. The intensity on the face of Muhammad Usman. Mitchell Sipe talking.
There it is.
It's getting intense, ladies and gentlemen. This is going down.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. February. The finale of the heavyweight tournament, Muhammad the Motor Usman. I think he's already annoyed with Mitchell Sipe. Whew. That is going to be a barn burner, to say the least. All right, coming up later tonight, Rolando Velasco takes on Rodrigo Lima. Bantamweight championship on the line for Velasco. Lima failed to make weight, but it is Velasco that tries to retain his title. All right, back to the action here from this heavyweight tournament fight. Lewis was in control of the first round, but it was the offensive Muay Thai ability of Mitchell Sipe that was able to get it done in the 3rd round. Beautiful uppercuts led to this. Some beautiful knees. Mitchell Sipe moving on to the heavyweight tournament finale coming up in February. He tells Muhammad Usman, work on your stand-up. I think Usman might take note of that after what Mitchell Sipe did here tonight. All right, more action, our co-main event coming up next as the former champion Tony Yamas makes his return to the Tachi Palace Fights cage.
Lightweights are ready to battle as former champion Tony Yamas returns to the TPF cage when he battles Sergio Quinones. A veteran of over 30 fights, former TPF lightweight champion Tony Yamas returns for the first time in 2 years. While capturing gold in his last MMA bout, Yamas is back ready to pick up where he left off. Standing in his way will be the equally experienced Sergio Quinones. With wins coming in 3 of his last 4 bouts, no victory has been as sweet as his most recent upset of Castle Williams last February. Tonight, he looks for another statement victory as he attempts to take out a former TPF champion. Coming up next, it's our co-main event of the evening as Tony Yamas meets Sergio Quinones.
Sergio Quinones making the walk to the TPF cage, living and training out of Lemoore. He doesn't have the best record on paper, 11-18, but when you talk to him, he really has a good mindset about that record. He says, my losses are in the past. They have nothing to do with my future performances. And he really, in his mind, has wiped the slate clean. It's fitting that his song says, I'm on a new level. He feels that he is on a new level, and no better way to prove that here to the Tachi Palace Fights faithful than by beating a former champion in Tony Yamas.
I believe him. I mean, we're about to see, the proof is about to be inside the cage, but if someone believes that they have moved on, that they are done being in the mental space that they were at before, and they've made the moves to improve themselves, then I don't see why the past should be attached to it. I think he can do anything he wants to do, as long as he trains it.
He's fighting in front of his hometown here in Lemoore. What kind of pressure can that add to a fighter fighting in front of friends and family?
So much pressure, but for some people, it's not pressure, it's encouragement. It really depends on how people deal with things. If they like to have that kind of familiarity, to have their people around them, to have their loved ones, their teammates, their family. There's a lot of people who thrive on that. They really need that. I'm a little bit different. I like to go to other countries. I like to not talk to anybody at all and hide out in my room for the days leading up to a fight. So I think that it can really depend on the individual fighter.
You know, one thing for Quinones, I mean, he's fighting in front of his hometown, but he's doing so for the 6th time. This isn't something that is new to him, so I'm sure he's used to the adjustments that are needed to fight in front of your hometown. Like, I'm sure he's been hit up numerous times for tickets and all sorts of fun stuff. He takes on Tony Yamas, who last time out in Tachi Palace Fights walked away with a TPF lightweight title. He has over 30 fights and a wealth of experience, and he thought he was going to be done. That's why he's walking into tonight's fight as the former champion, because he relinquished that lightweight title. And like a lot of fighters who plan on walking away, it seems more often than not that it's just a vacation. And for Tony Yamas, the vacation is over.
He's back, ready to do the work. It's got to be a good feeling to come back in here and to do the training camp. And after having retired, to be able to say, no, this is what I choose. I'm not doing this because there's a ball rolling and I can't stop it. This is all 110% because it's exactly what I want to do. That's got to be empowering.
Tony Yamas wearing his signature green gloves. I'll give you a little secret. On the wraps of those gloves, it says Sherdog.com. They were bought from the Sherdog.com store like 15 years ago. That's how old school Tony Yamas is, and tonight he fights once again on Sherdog.com. Tony is a guy that, like I said, he's a scrapper. He just likes to fight. He's fought 31 times. He owns a TPF title, and it's a true statement to what makes him as a professional. He will go out there, he will take any fight with anybody on any given night, and whether he had, 5 weeks or 5 minutes to prepare for a fight, he's a guy who always makes a fight interesting.
And that's the kind of love for the spotlight, for the adrenaline, and for the competition that has just driven MMA for all these years, is the people who are able to bring their love and then share it with everybody else.
There are a variety of reasons that any fighter competes in mixed martial arts, and when Tony Yamas got started in mixed martial arts, there weren't $1 million paydays. Heck, there weren't even multiple thousands of dollar paydays for someone like him, and now he's fighting still so many years later, and he fights for the love of the game, and he tries to extend that journey here tonight in our co-main event. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Sergio Quinones 3 inches taller. It is technically a catchweight contest, 159.5 for Quinones, 156.2 for Llamas. Llamas, 9 years the elder. We see the record, 31 fights for Llamas, 16 and 15, and we have 11 and 18 for the outlaw, Sergio Quinones. For the official introductions of our co-main event of the evening, here's Tyson Johnson.
And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 159 pounds. He represents Team Oshawa with a mixed martial arts record of 11 wins and 18 defeats. He hails from Lemoore, California. Please welcome Sergio the Outlaw Quinones. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 156 pounds. He has a mixed martial arts record of 16 wins and 15 losses. He hails from Porterville, California. Please welcome Tony Llamas. Your referee for this bout will be Jason McCoy.
Catchweight contest, former champion Tony Llamas meeting Sergio Quinones. Referee for this bout, Jason McCoy. Co-main event of the evening, TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith. Cage side here, Tachi Palace Fights 33. Llamas in the whites, Quinones in the black. Llamas saying, hit me.
Llamas was punching himself in the face before the round started with that, like, I think he wanted to get hit, wanted to get that feeling.
It's been about 2 years since he's been in a fight. He's in one now. Takedown here for Quinones. Half guard. Guard is open too. We'll see if Quinones is able to pass. Steps over, almost in the mount. Llamas gives up his back. Quinones had one hook in. Trying to readjust, trying to work that rear naked choke. Is the outlaw. Hammer fist. Looks like Llamas might be bleeding. Hard to see where the cut is.
Yeah, we haven't been able to see Llamas' face in a bit since they engaged.
Coming from the nose of Tony Llamas. Definitely found himself in a fight now. Comes high with the kick. Llamas enjoying himself. Ooh, nice two-punch combination, but Quinones not rattled by a hard right hand. Quinones egging him on. Kick comes high for Llamas. Quinones tries to answer with a kick to the lead leg.
This seems personal. You know, some fights, they have skills that they want to show. This really seems like it's personal between these two.
Tony Llamas is the type of fighter that makes everything personal.
They do have a history. They did fight once before.
That is true.
And a long time ago, Llamas got the armbar on Quinones.
And on a takedown now is the outlaw. Second takedown of the fight for him. Action right in front of us here, cage side. A short little elbow from the bottom by Llamas.
It was a nice elbow. We have seen a lot of great strikes from the bottom. But I think that it is significant that this is the second time they've been on the ground, and it's Quinones on top both times.
Quinones now able to get a hook in. Llamas turtle, see if he can try to roll into Sergio. Ooh,
that was
back elbow.
I like that.
Quinones trying to dig that forearm underneath the chin.
I'm kind of curious as to what it is that Llamas was trying to do with his hand.
Now Llamas settles into half. See if he can make Quinones pay. Yamas trying to work the forearm on the face of Quinones, bails on it. And Quinones trying to reverse the position. Spinning back fist misses on the break. Tony Yamas is going to throw strikes in any position.
I'm really enjoying watching him. I'm taking notes for 9-inch fight, to tell you the truth.
Overhand right by Quinones. And this is the type of fight that Tony Yamas probably missed while he was off. He really likes to get in there and mix it up. And for a lot of guys who haven't fought for a couple of years, they get in there, get their nose busted up. It might make them take a step back. Tony Yamas, I think it's made him take multiple steps forward. Right hand there by Quinones.
Right, you know, the fear for a lot of fighters is to one day get in there and be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But it looks like as soon as he got touched, Tony Yamas was like, oh yeah, this is me. This is what I do.
Nice straight right hand lands. Head kick comes high. Quinones forces attempted takedown. Yamas with some nice strikes. Quinones trying to get out of there. Now just rolling away. I think Quinones is bloodied up. I think the blood is definitely coming from his nose. He's got some.
This is a nose for a nose going on.
Oh my goodness. Tony Yamas having some fun. Final 10 seconds here. First round of our co-main event. Tony Yamas trying to put the end right here. Quinones trying to get a takedown. Uppercut. Quinones in some trouble. He makes it to the final bell. Would have been interesting if Tony Yamas had about 20 more seconds to work. I don't know if Quinones would have been able to continue, but he does get a respite, and we'll see what happens.
Yes. I'm kind of thinking that the term needs to be changed to be more accurate for fighters, because an eye for an eye, you can't keep fighting if you lose an eye, but a nose for a nose makes for an interesting second round.
That's right. Both men spilling some blood here in the first round of our co-main event. Leslie, walk us through some of this action.
This was Yamas pushing forward. He got a little bit overexcited, and then Quinones took him down twice. This was the second time that he put him on his back. He did some good threatening, but Yamas just always had, like you said, blows from every single angle. Even in a position where he shouldn't have had anything, he was still able to bust out with that. And then now he switches the tide, and it turns into him being the one who's in control when they're on the ground.
Quinones was in a world of hurt as the bell rang in round number 1. Let's see if he gets some momentum back in his side. Here's McCoy telling him to take a step back. See the nose there of Sergio Quinones. It's definitely crooked. Nice kick to the body there by Yamas. Quinones has a lot of head movement here. Yamas feigning with the right hand.
Yamas doesn't even keep his hands up unless he's in. He's like, I know.
You know, Tony Yamas isn't going to be a fighter that comes back and wins a UFC championship, but he's going to win the hearts and minds of a lot of fighters. He is a true brawler, a true scrapper, and he's putting it on Sergio Quinones. Beautiful head kick, partially blocked. So snap the head back of Sergio Quinones. Tony Yamas is a fighter that is perfectly the example of every night that there's a mixed martial arts card, you never know what you're going to get. Maybe it's not the marquee that is Michael Bisping and George St. Pierre, but if Tony Yamas is on a fight card, I'm watching. Beautiful two-piece combination there by Yamas. Oh, nice right hand, though, by Sergio Quinones. Yamas again pressing forward. His right hand gets through by Tony. Quinones going for broke with that overhand right. Ooh, that one landed. Yamas showing off that chin. That's got to be a bit demoralizing for Quinones, who's definitely down here in the second round. Lands his best shot, and now he's in a whole lot of trouble. Flattened down, Tony Yamas gets it done.
And that's a happy Tony Yamas in there.
The former lightweight king back for the first time in 2 years, and he's back in a big way.
I wonder what it was about that very last punch. If it was straight on the nose, it looked like it made his legs wobble and got him to sit down. Maybe it wasn't the nose. Maybe it was just a button.
I think it was just a culmination of everything, Leslie. Let's walk us through some of this action.
That was that nice right hand that you noticed that that landed. Ooh, but then that was that straight left. I think it was just a straight left that Tony Yamas threw, and it just put him back.
Tony Yamas loving it.
You know, and that's such a veteran the way he did it, too. He was like, oh, yeah, I like this. I like what I'm doing. They were exchanging. He was like, I'm tasting my blood. I like the way this feels. I can see him tasting his blood. And he never got overexcited. He never got crazy. He just kept walking in. He was like, I'm going to breathe. Okay, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to hit you.
We're talking about Tony Yamas, who entered the cage tonight for the 32nd time in his career, the first time in 2 years. And I think when some fighters taste their own blood, when some fighters get hit, they go, okay, I'm in a fight now, and they make a choice. Either I'm in a fight and I'm going to continue to go forward and I love this, or they're going to take a step back and they're going to wilt. And more often than not, those fighters aren't long for the sport. Tony Yamas is one of those guys where he might even say, I'm not really in a fight unless I get hit in the face. And when you get that blood flowing for Tony Yamas, it truly gets his blood flowing, and he's ready to fight. And he did that once again here tonight in his return fight.
He looks awake and alive and excited.
Tony Yamas getting it done. Time of the stoppage. It lies with Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 43 seconds into round number 2, your winner by way of TKO, Tony Yamas.
Tony Yamas getting it done tonight inside the TPF cage. The 39-year-old picks up the 17th win of his mixed martial arts career, and I think he's having too much fun to stop there. I think that this is not just a one-off. I think Tony Yamas is going to continue that MMA journey.
Yeah. He looked like he was just having too much fun. It looked like it was too enjoyable for him. So I think it's interesting. You pointed out that he had the gloves, the 15-year-old gloves.
Yeah.
When I had the chance to choose my own gloves, I always wanted the oldest gloves that I could possibly find because they've been worn down. They're basically rock by the time they get to that point. My favorite things to wear.
And I think, you know, when you're training in those gloves and you wear those gloves day in and day out, they almost mold to your hand. And Tony Yamas has done a lot of work inside the TPF cage with those gloves on. Our co-main event did deliver Tony Yamas back in action for the first time in 2 years, doing work with Sergio Quinones. Quinones was game, had success early. Those punches landing, but Tony Yamas said, oh, I miss getting hit. I miss fighting. And when he went on offense, the pedal was to the metal. Tony Yamas putting it on Sergio Quinones. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. The former TPF lightweight champion getting it done in our co-main events.
Finally in Lemoore, we see the Bantamweight Championship on the line as Rolando Velasco battles Brazil's Rodrigo Lima. With a career dating back to 2006, former TPF Bantamweight King Rolando Velasco looks to reclaim his championship status by picking up a victory here tonight. After dropping his title to Cody Gibson in a close decision, Velasco has taken the long road back to the cage. Now ready to get back to work, the machine looks to stand once again atop of the Bantamweight mountain. Looking to spoil his return will be Rio de Janeiro's Rodrigo Lima. A Bellator veteran, Lima has competed all over the world. Tonight, he looks to make a statement by derailing the return of a former TPF king. On the way, it's our main event of the evening as Rolando the Machine Velasco squares off against Rodrigo Lima. This is Tachi Palace Fights.
Rodrigo Lima making the walk to the TPF cage for the first time in his career. He is a black belt, represents American Top Team, and when you look at Lima, he really wanted to win the belt here and make a statement. Unfortunately for him, he failed to make weight. Now the question is, Leslie, how much did he tax his body trying to make weight, and will that affect him here in the fight?
There's only one way to find out, and I guess we're about to see right now. There's There's just so much about a weight cut that participates in a fight, and that's one of the reasons that we see people who can look great in the gym and then not so impressive once they make it to the cage, because a weight cut affects everything. It has to be done responsibly and intelligently, and maybe he made the smarter decision by not finishing the weight cut. Maybe he was already so depleted that his only chance of having a good fight tonight was to avoid cutting down those last few pounds, but it has to affect him mentally, knowing that he's not going to get the title, even though he's got to fight 5 rounds.
Had a chance to speak with Rolando Velasco ahead of this fight, and the last year has been very difficult for him. He lost his mother very suddenly last December. He's regrouped in a variety of areas in his life and wanted to make a serious run at potentially getting to the big show. He's a guy that has fought for a very, very long time, and he is owned TPF gold, he's owned PFC gold, and he'd like to get back to that championship status here tonight. He has all the skills required to compete with the world's greatest fighters. He truly does, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't gotten that call yet, and he's going to give it one more solid run before he calls it a career, and that run begins tonight. I wonder if that is adding extra pressure to Rolando at all. He's felt the bright lights. He's had a championship belt wrapped around his waist, but knowing that, you're in the latter part of your career, you have yet to get where you want to go, that can be a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm sure Rolando Velasco is going to take it in stride and do what he does best.
Yeah, all that stuff can add just fuel to the fire. It all depends on the mind. It's either going to add to everything and make you an even tougher fighter and make you just have that much more, or it can add the extra pressure that some people don't respond to very well. But at this point, 13-4, long career, I think that he's probably pretty good at dealing with the pressure.
Fighting is truly his everyday life. His wife is Kelly McGill Velasco, who has fought for Invicta Fighting Championship. She had her chance on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. I think it's invaluable having a significant other that is right there in your corner, not only just in life, but in your fights as well. Knows what you're going through a camp, knows what it's like to have that weight cut, and she's by his side every step of the way.
I think it's brilliant that they even are the same weight class.
That's right.
It's a built-in training partner for life.
Rolando Velasco came up short to Cody Gibson, losing his title tonight. He tries to get back in the championship ranks of Tachi Palace Fights. Let's take a look at the main event. Tale of the tape. Rolando Velasco stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, 1 inch taller than Rodrigo Lima. Lima came in overweight, 137. Velasco, 135. The Machine, 4 years the elder of the Brazilian. For our main event official introductions, here's Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Tachi Palace fight will be 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. This bout is being brought to you by the Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is for the vacant Tachi Palace Fights Bantamweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 137 pounds. He represents American Top Team with a mixed martial arts record of 12 wins and 4 defeats. He hails from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rodrigo de Lima. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. He represents the Last Stand Fight Team with a mixed martial arts record of 13 wins and 4 defeats. He hails from Oakdale, California. Ladies and gentlemen, from Oakdale MMA, Rolando Velasco. Your referee for this championship bout will be Josh Rosenthal.
Obey my commands at all times. Defend yourselves at all times. Touch gloves now if you want. Step back. Let's do this.
Our main event is upon us. 5-minute rounds for Rolando Velasco, the Bantamweight Championship of Tachi Palace Fights on the line.
Gentlemen, you ready? Ready? Fight!
Rodrigo Lima in the black. Velasco in the gray with black trim. Kick to the lead leg by the Brazilian. See Velasco switching it up from southpaw to orthodox. We'll see if that means maybe he's more comfortable standing one way over the other when it comes to takedowns, or if he's wanting to stand one way or the other for stand-up.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of switching. I'd love to see why. I'm working on a lot more switching. It's a higher level.
You can really throw your opponent off kilter as well, not really knowing what hand is going to be your power hand at any given time. For someone like Velasco, he does have power in both hands. Quick right hands there by Lima. Beautiful left hand there. Lima saying, bring it on, Velasco. Nods in agreement. TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith, our main event of the evening here. Tachi Palace fights 33. Rolando Velasco trying to regain TPF gold. It's a right hand, though, by the Brazilian Rodrigo Lima. Another kick. That kick has been on point to the lead leg of Velasco. Left hand there. Saw the tail of the tape. Lima weighed in at 137. Just 1 pound over the allotted pound if this was a non-title fight, but you got to weigh in at 35 if you're going to vie for that title. And we'll see if Velasco wants to try to take this fight to the latter rounds. He eats a right hand there. Lima is throwing heavy leather.
It is so hard to get an angle on both of these guys. They both have such good movement, and they're not setting, so it's really hard to get to a point where you can hit them without the other one being able to hit you.
Lima, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ooh, caught Velasco low.
I heard that one. There's no question about that one.
Lima raising his hand, sort of apologizing to everybody. That one definitely caught him low.
Coaching.
Velasco trying to walk it off, shake it off. He's got 5 minutes to recover here. And like you said, though, I mean, that one sounded heavy.
Yeah, it sounded painful. At the beginning, we could see Josh
for,
Rosenthal telling
that
the
inside
corner,
kick, you got to be really careful with it, okay? All right, if it happens again, the next time I'm going to have to take the point, okay? You understand? Okay, cool.
Rosenthal giving a stern warning to Lima. Said if it happens one more time, he's going to have to take away a point. That can play with your mind a little bit. The kicking of the lead leg has been a focal point for Lima thus far in this fight. We'll see if that slows now that he knows if he catches him higher, a point might be deducted.
Maybe. Personally, if something's working for me, I'll just kind of keep on going with it.
Right.
Like things that are said, whether it's the corners or the refs or anybody else, there's not a ton of voices that I really hear once I'm going.
Velasco really taking his time here, which is good. You see a lot of fighters sometimes get hyped up, even if they're not fully recovered. They want to get back in there and not lose momentum. But Velasco's a pro here, taking his time and doing everything to ensure the fact that when he gets back out there, he is 100% recovered. If you can be 100% recovered after something like that.
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced it myself. That's something I'm lucky that I never will get to.
I've called fights with women where it has been stopped for the groin strike, so it does happen.
No coaching during the foul.
It does happen. It's not a...
And that one landed flush. We saw it on the replay there. Velasco immediately in pain. I think the full shin caught the cup.
Should be wearing Diamond MMA. That's the good one.
I've heard good things about the Diamond Cup.
Oh, yeah. Diamond Cup is, all the UFC fighters wear it.
All of them.
That's what, whenever every show that I've been to, everyone's had to pull out a Sharpie and then color out the diamond of the Diamond MMA because they're all wearing it.
Really?
They should just adopt Diamond MMA for all the UFC fighters.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, looks like Velasco's ready to go. Here we go. Touch over 2.5 minutes remaining, round number 1. Nice left hand gets through by the machine. kicks to the lead leg by Lima. These kicks, though, on the outside as Velasco standing southpaw eats a nice combination. More punches there by the Brazilian, finding a home. Kick to the body. Now Velasco trying to change things up. Goes in the grappling mode. Hard fence grab.
Is affecting everything. You
got to take away a point. Josh Rosenthal, I believe, is going to take away a point. He saved 2 takedowns. 2 takedowns saved by Rodrigo Lima.
Stop the takedown. It's 1 point.
Justifiable in his position as Josh Rosenthal.
1 point.
Well, he went to pull his hand off the cage,
grab the fence,
and he wouldn't let go of it.
Right on. Fight.
Long way to go in this one before the point matters, but definitely on the mind of Lima. Now he's turning up the pressure. Velasco lowers his elevation. Beautiful takedown. Lima working this guillotine, but it looks like Velasco has his head free. Ooh, now omoplata position here for the Brazilian.
Does he get his hand around the hips? Yes, so that he can't step over. I should use names.
Lima working the omoplata here on Velasco. Velasco able to save off the danger for now. The omoplata, a submission, Leslie, that isn't often used to actually finish a fight, but it can induce a scramble, and credit to Rolando Velasco for not getting reversed with the attempt.
Yeah, he did very well. Managed to keep his position where he was.
Watch the head coming down.
Minute here left in round number 1. Former champion Rolando Velasco in the guard here of Rodrigo Lima. Taking his time here is Velasco, but Lima trying to force the issue, fish for an armbar or a triangle, unable to do so. 35 seconds remain.
With how active Lima's guard was, I would probably try to get out of the guard. I would try to pass the guard and then do some damage on the side instead of just staying there in the middle. But some of those, he threw his hips up pretty high and was threatening some submissions. But Velasco was thoroughly comfortable right where he was.
5 minutes in the books. Let's not forget Rodrigo Lima lost a point there. So depending on how the judges scored it, could have been a 10-8 round for Rolando Velasco, or at best for Lima, a 9-9. Lima did land some nice strikes in that round. Velasco changed things up, took it to the floor. One thing that is interesting to note, sometimes judges, I worry if they get lost in the action when there is a long respite due to a foul. Sometimes that first stanza of action can be kind of lost in the recovery period.
Yeah, well, refs are people too, and as fighters, we try to take advantage of that. We want to make a significant event. If we can make a significant event towards the end.
Beautiful left hand by Velasco there. Lima egging him on.
Lima got dialed in more and more as it progressed in the stand-up, but then Velasco did a great job of that takedown.
And then we see the fence grab. I mean, he did it 2 times.
Gentlemen, fight.
There we go, back live action here, round number 2. Rolando Velasco, Rodrigo Lima. Our main event here, Tachi Palace, 533. Beautiful kick.
There's a good chance those kicks are adding up by now. He's switched both sides. He's taking kicks on both sides. But he still looks like he's moving just as well.
There's one good thing for Velasco, too. When your opponent is kicking at your lead leg, if you're constantly changing your lead leg, you can sort of disperse that damage if you're unable to check the kicks. There's the left hand by Velasco. That one checked.
He's doing the kick. It's new to me within the past year has been everyone kicking below the knee, straight at the shin, not even trying to go for the thigh.
Lima in on a guillotine here. Velasco able to stand. Gets his head free. More kicking offense from the Brazilian Lima. TJ DeSantis, Leslie Smith. Get at us on Twitter at TJ DeSantis, at Leslie Smith _GF. Hashtag TPF33. Takedown here for Velasco. Caught in the guillotine, though. He gives the thumbs up. Anything you see here that you like about this guillotine, or is Velasco pretty safe? Now he's out.
They've all been seeming pretty safe to me. These, because there have been more than one, but they seem like it's not a huge danger to Velasco because of the way that Lima is so far back. You really want to be super balled up in order to get a guillotine, in order to finish it, because once you sort of lean back and lay down, then it's so much more likely for the head to pop out, which is what happened.
Lima lost his guard for a brief moment, trying to get it back. Looked like he was going for a triangle.
Yeah, he had his arm trapped in a way. These movements are so fluid. There can be these small things that affect everything, and then 2 seconds later, they're gone.
Lima very active from his guard. Velasco trying to use that aggression against him to pass the guard.
Man, I know Velasco is very comfortable, but these are positions where I don't think people should hang out for too long. No matter what the level of the opponent is. There's just...
Velasco able to circle out from danger, but this is very important for Lima. He was on his back, but he was the aggressor, making Velasco work. Beautiful uppercut. Lima now bunching up some punches. Velasco in some trouble, trying to circle away as the machine. Another left hand by the Brazilian. What a flurry here of action. Going to the body is Lima. Velasco still hanging tough, but he's eating a lot of strikes here, Leslie.
Yeah, those uppercuts are just brutal.
Now in on a takedown is Lima. He gets it. Needs to clear his head, though, and he does. Half butterfly here for Rolando Velasco.
I'm excited to see what he has for his top game.
Rolando Velasco, no slouch in his own right here on the floor.
So far, it looks like Velasco's doing a great job of controlling the risks of Lima.
And trying to make some space to stand is Rolando Velasco in on the takedown. Beautifully done. Caught in that guillotine position again, but you can already see his head is almost out.
You see how he's sitting up? That's the way to keep it in. To be able to sit up.
He tapped. Wow. I didn't see the tap. I thought he was going to get his head out. But Rodrigo Lima getting it done via guillotine choke.
Yeah, I would like to see the replay of that. It must have been the people on the other side of the cage that were able to see it.
No complaints there from Rolando Velasco. He was caught. And I think you're right. You mentioned that Velasco was a little bit too comfortable in a variety of positions. I think he was comfortable giving up his neck, and Lima was able to get the tablets watching.
So he sat up, and this is where he kept giving him that neck, was when he would go for those takedowns. Lima, see how right here that cage prevented him from flattening out on his back, and then he had to sit up even more. See how his head is coming up, how he's using his abs to sit up? That's the thing that's going to make it possible. That is what made it possible, because this must be the tap right there.
It's interesting. The crown of Velasco's head almost looked like it was free, but credit to the submission ability of Rodrigo Lima. Getting it done, forcing the former champion to tap. Unfortunately for the Brazilian, he will not walk out of here with TPF gold, but you've got to believe he's solidified himself potentially as a #1 contender. I mean, you got to make weight. That's the question. What will Richard Goodman value moving forward? Does he, solidify himself as a #1 contender, or did he blow his shot by not making weight? But ultimately, he gets the win in our main event.
He does, and congratulations to him, but I do as well wonder what's going to be the deal, because it's hard to give someone championship fights when they don't make weight. Although he has definitely proven that he has the skills to be there.
Rodrigo Lima stops the former champion Rolando Velasco via guillotine choke. To make it official, here's Tyson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 minutes, 47 seconds into round number 2, your winner by way of tap out and new Tachi Palace Fights Bantamweight Champion of the World, Rodrigo. Your winner, Rodrigo de Lima.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Rodrigo Lima. Unfortunately, you failed to make weight, so you were not the champion, but a win nonetheless. Walk us through it. You had the guillotine a couple times. Why were you able to finish it the last time you had it?
So, I don't made the weight, but I feel a little bit frustrated, but it's happening. I didn't have more time to lose my weight, but I'm here. I'm the champion now. Wait for the next one, fight for me for the title. So, support this fight needs to be the title, but I missed the weight, but I'm here. Let me know the next one for fight. I'll be ready. Yeah, you go fight for the fight here. Let's go.
Congratulations, sir. Great win. Rodrigo Lima, victorious in our main event tonight. All right, Leslie, it was a great fight card from top to bottom. Exactly what you want here and what you expect from Tachi Palace Fights. Another year of some of the best prospects in mixed martial arts. And what were your thoughts on tonight's fight card and just this promotion as a whole in 2017?
I thought it was a well-matched fight card, high intensity, great fighters. I love seeing the variety of the different attacks that everybody had. I feel like this is a whole new level of abilities that people are showing. Everybody's evolved so much. It's a great night.
We move forward. We kicked off our heavyweight tournament. We're going to see that back in February. Muhammad Usman and Mitchell Sipe. You're going to be back for that, right, in February?
I wouldn't miss it.
Awesome. She's Leslie Smith. I'm TJ DeSantis. For everyone here in Lemoore and Tachi Palace Fights, happy holidays, and we'll see you back here in February.
Woo!